Hello, everybody. My name is Justin McElroy, and I know the best game of E3.
I protest! I'm Griffin McElroy. I believe that I am in possession of the knowledge of what the best game at E3 is 2012.
My name is Christopher Plant, and you're all wrong. Because I actually know how this game ends. It ends with me as the champion of the best game.
Automatic commissioner. You're the automatic
commissioner.
Hi everyone. In case you didn't hear that, I have the best game of V3.
This is check.
Cool.
I have the best game of V3.
Chris Plant, are you done with your introduction? Your maybe worst introduction of all time, because no one could hear it. My name is Russ Frushtick, and I know the best game of the week.
It's even worse when you see him do it in person.
Good.
Isn't it
It's
better?
good.
This is, of course, the Besties, where the four of us, friends from Polygon, best friends, have the newest games do battle against each other in Mortal Kombat until one reigns supreme. This week a little different because we are at the E-Triple.
The E-Triple.
And we have seen a bunch of new games that are not out yet.
Okay. Gang sign.
Is this?
It's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Check this out. It's apple pie.
That's a cool new gang sign.
That looks like he just mowed the lawn really well.
So we're going to be talking about the games that we saw at E3. No commissioner this week because we just got too much to talk about. We'll just have to battle it out here live on No, you know what we're going to do? We're going to let the viewers decide.
That sounds great.
The first comment saying who's going first will be the one that we go with. Now we just wait like a minute until the comments refresh.
Hey, while we're waiting, can you tell me the password for a guess?
It's the only fruit with the seeds on the outside,
Oh, I know it.
and then a zero.
No, don't tell me anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
Still waiting on those comments to refresh, but once those, it was Chris, Justin, Griffin, Justin. Nobody wants Russ.
No!
That's too bad because I have the best game.
We will go Chris, and then Justin, and then me, and then you.
That's great. I love this. We're looking at comments on YouTube and on our website right now, right?
I'm looking at the tubes.
Good.
Okay.
Well, I'm just going to get the internet to work first.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about my game, which is Project P100. I think the reason to own a Wii U basically at this point, because there wasn't a whole lot else besides maybe Zombies U, and we'll talk about Mario a little bit later in the show, because we discovered that there is actually a way to fix New Super Mario Bros. U that was not intended, but greatly improves the game. But we're gonna talk about that later.
Okay.
Right now we're gonna focus on Project. I'm gonna throw it. I'm gonna oof it to the trailer. I'm oofing it to the Project P100 trailer. And oof it. I'm not getting service on that internet.
We are back.
We're back.
We're
Great.
back.
We're seeing this thing. That thing that you just saw is ginormous. It's the size of like a skyscraper.
That's not a word.
Ginormous? No, it is. I looked it up before we did this because I knew that you were going to call me on it.
Okay.
So
I
it's
looked
the
up some
size-
choice words.
It's the
that
size
you
of
could
a
drop.
skyscraper, right? So most of these battles that you're fighting are, I mean, they're pretty big, huge robots. But that one, you are like 40 people on the top of its hand, and you're just wailing at that beast. So the
Can you
scale of the
explain the
game is
mechanics
great.
here?
We'll get to the mechanics.
This looks like poppycock.
So you shut it. So this game is being directed by Hideki Kamiya.
My
I
boy.
pronounced it wrong. He was the director of, he worked on Resident Evil 2, Beautiful Joe,
Okay.
Okami. He worked on some great games. And the art style kind of looks like Beautiful
looks
Joe
like
when you see
Beautiful
these
Joe.
characters, right?
Tommy too. I'm just saying it's like beautiful
Color?
Japanese paintings.
Yeah, and
There's a
the
dog with a
the
paintbrush
calligraphy
in his
and the stealth
Wait.
bombers.
Oh, there's
So-
multiplayer?
Yeah, I think so.
Let him-
So here's the thing about how it works. You start out as just one guy, and you're a hero that's going to fight off these evil robots and monsters that are coming to attack Earth. And then you rally just normal people to become superheroes of their own. So they'll like put on like a bathroom sink on their head, and that's like their outfit. So it's kind of goofy, right? And you do that by drawing a circle around them, and all the characters that you have right then they all hold hands, they form like a little prayer circle, and then they jump in the air and go, yay! And then everyone joins up.
I'm not comfortable going like non-secular
Yeah,
in my
is it?
game.
Okay, it's not
I
like
want
a-
my kids to decide whether or not they want to.
They believe in fighting
I mean,
space
how
aliens?
Exactly.
heavily Christian is it? Is it Judeo-Christian or is it
It's
like
not
a really?
prayer does not mean Judeo-Christian.
Yeah, man.
You're closed-minded individual.
I'm not closed-minded. I just want to know who.
If
we're
we had
praying
to, if we were like had points, I'd dock points. I would
Maybe we
dock
should add
points,
points.
for the way that you
We
talk.
should add a point.
Okay.
between
You know what?
the show.
You know what this show needs? More complications.
Yeah, that's my problem with the Besties. Has always been there aren't enough rules. You know.
Well, the rules have been so standardized by this point,
Yeah.
it just seems wrong to change.
right.
them.
Yeah. So here's the thing about the game. So you have rush moves, which basically build power, and that's where your people just violently attack whatever it is, like ants. They just horde on it, and they get bat around, and they're getting beaten out of your
they
little
die?
squad. They don't die, but they get knocked out, and then you have to kind of
death,
you
isn't
gather them
It's
back.
death.
Once you've built up
Now,
power
wait,
by
did
doing this,
Shigeru Miyamoto
once
tell
you've
you
built
they weren't dead? Did he say no? They're not dead. No, they're
shh,
sleeping.
shh, shh. Don't worry about it. They're on.
you know how we talk about our game, and then you get to make fun.
Yeah.
I'm talking about my game.
We're live. The rules
talking
have
about my
We've been
game.
talking about it
Sure.
for a long
We're
time.
talking about my
now,
game.
To be
Z3.
fair, are you controlling the whole clump with the stick?
Well, you move them around with a stick, but then you draw powers. So you draw like an L, and that'll turn them into a gun, and then they fire. They don't fire themselves as bullets. They like fire kind of like an energy, but they form into a gun, or they can form into a giant fist.
Now, when they turn
or they
into
can
a gun,
stand on top of each other and
This
be
is
a
question.
sword.
A question from the comments.
Okay.
When they turn into a gun, are the bullets actual
The
people?
bullets, I don't think are actual people. I think
don't
it's like
know,
actually it might be real people
'Cause
because
when they
because
get
you
turned
run
into a
out
sword,
and then they get chopped down
and the
because
sword is
the
made
sword
of
gets
people.
smaller. So in the end, the sword gets smaller as you whack them. So I think that
Is
it
there a
probably
cutscene
is.
every time you shoot the gun where everybody gets together and like, someone's got to be the fucking bullet, guys.
No, they don't let
Rock,
them
paper,
choose.
scissors.
Someone's got to do it.
It's not like a choice. They just all volunteer. They're in this together.
They're so-
They're so motivated that they know right away. If I gotta be the bullet, I gotta be the bullet.
Yeah.
Wow,
That's how they do it.
that's beautiful.
You also have the ability to. There's like a shield move where you turn into Jello. So if the robot comes down on you, he bounces back. There's you can turn into basically a tremor. Your dodge is you turning into what looks just like Tremors from Tremors, and you like kind of dodge through the ground.
Tremors from
And
Tremors.
then
Tremors
you-
from
and then you
Tremors,
eat
the movie
Jeff
Tremors.
Daniels when you-
You know,
Based-
yeah. You just hang with Jeff.
Based on the novel Push by Sapphire, right? Is that the Tremors?
Yeah, that's the Tremors I'm talking
Okay.
about. Yeah, it's like a really positive game. I got a positive vibe. I really love Earthbound, and I love games that are like made by Japanese developers. And they're like, I kind of think this is what America feels like, and it's way off. Like the cars are the size of the house. At one point, a helicopter crashes, and it's bigger than like 5 city blocks. It's just this massive helicopter. And I'd like to imagine
we
that
spend our money. We gotta make sure we have the
we
best
spend all of our
damn
money on these giant
helicopters.
helicopters.
It's a sort of like the Katamari Damacy. Like, I bet Americans have erasers the size of small dogs.
Yeah, for sure. What else would they do?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm not a huge Platinum Games fan normally. I mean, I was like I'm okay with Bayonetta. I'm okay with the games they make, but they're never something that I'm not the person who's raging about them.
Sure.
And this one, it got me in the heart, like a little Pixar movie.
I'm not sure Americans are self-sacrificing enough to do the things
To
that people are
actually be
doing in
these
Project
heroes?
P1.
Yeah.
Do you
Now,
think-
do you know it's set in America? Is it in American cities? Is it like in St. Louis or something?
See, what I usually do when I see people being brave and fighting off an evil menace is just assume that it's my brothers and sisters in
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, sure.
I have figured that can't be anywhere else. I figure when the trouble starts,
Right.
everybody else cowers, and then we're like, don't worry, we'll form a friendship prayer circle, and we'll shoot each other with our bodies.
Sure.
It's got to be so embarrassing for the aliens when they choose to come to America. It's like, oh, you done thumped the wrong person.
You done, and
Yeah,
haven't
mistake.
you seen
Welcome to
anything?
Earth.
Big mistake.
Because like in space, they're seeing like what's happening like in the 1950s now, because the X-rays are getting to them or whatever.
Yeah, it's like
science.
watch a movie.
They're watching.
Yeah,
They're watching
and they're
War of the
watching it.
Worlds. They're like, we could take.
We
this
can take
place.
them out because
we got this.
You know
But
what
by the time
happens?
they get here, they're watching.
The
Men in
they're
Black.
watching the end of War of the Worlds. I'm like, oh
no,
no, the
they've got
common
the
cold.
Like
Yeah.
we beat the aliens last time with Bill Pullman as our president, and his wife had just died. Like,
Guys.
you don't want to come after us.
I don't want to. I
ID
don't
for
want to step
spoilers.
away from the besties for too long.
Okay.
But did you know when Bill Pullman gives his presidential speech
When
in
he says
Independence Day?
improvise.
Do you know what his acting thinking was?
What?
He said, "I had to think of the most pain I'd ever been in, so I thought about that really bad toothache."
Yeah.
So when he's in pain, one day, no, it was like a toothache that just bothered him
The
months
scene
ago.
When his wife tried to see when he gave the awesome
The scene when he
speech.
gave the awesome rallying speech, he was like, I gotta suffer through it and be brave.
It's method acting.
And I had a toothache that was fierce one day, and I just pulled from that.
What a
Learn
charmed
from it.
life he was.
Yeah.
Great, Bill Pullman has
Sweet to be
good.
Bill Pullman.
So I think I've pretty well defended my
Question for Chris. So is this kind of like Pikmin?
game. You know what? It is, and I think that's why Nintendo buried it. And they did. It's a great game, and it's like, why is this one great game not at their
Because
conference?
it's from a parallel dimension where Nintendo comes up with new games.
Yeah.
It's weird that Nintendo has like two hardcore games in this like lineup that they rolled out, and they're both
Control lots of people simulators.
and like hurl them at enemies.
Yeah.
And it's basically
They're martyrdom sims.
And when you and the best part is when you ask someone at Nintendo and you're like, so why did you not show this really great looking game that you've decided to publish? They're like, we just thought it would look better up close. And it's like, what is that?
go
Yeah, but you're
home.
asking the person next to that TV screen that doesn't have any. They're not like.
I know. Well, that's what they were told to say. They didn't come up with that.
Or else Reggie Fils-Aimé would break all their fingers.
That's what he does anyway.
You know
He
what else
shakes
looks
your
very
hand.
close?
Yeah.
He's just like, how are you doing? They're like,
Reggie had to develop a special handshake that he can do. It's more like he has to do this. This is called the Reggie.
Otherwise, it's just it's like a kneel before Zod. It's like, really.
Are we getting a supplemental up here?
Oh, God. Oh, God. It's probably seem better in your head.
oh, here it comes.
Wait,
We-
is
oh,
that
man.
Robert Loggia? I forgot he was in this movie.
Our copyrights are just really just.
Yeah, no, I just
Oh,
want
good.
to
You're
see.
trying to, thank you.
I want to see the pain.
Well, let's just all enjoy
Here,
this.
here it is. Look at his face right now.
Can you guys?
Oh my teeth.
Can you guys imagine if Bill Pullman was actually the drunk pilot and Randy Quaid was the president?
Aircraft from here will join others from around the world.
Right now his molars are starting to flare.
And you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind.
You're giving him the gas. It's not working.
You can hear it in the.
He just thought about how his insurance isn't going to cover the whole thing.
Words should have new meaning for all of us today. Consumed by a
He's got his finger in his pit. He's
How
pinching himself
casual
really
is
hard.
he?
in our common interest.
Man,
I'm
he's
going to fly into a
serious.
fucking spaceship.
Space today
Language.
is 4th of July. And you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not
The brow.
tyranny, oppression, or persecution,
Oh, it hurts.
but from annihilation.
I shouldn't have eaten all that taffy.
We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday.
No.
No, not anymore.
It is the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night.
Yeah!
We will not.
Robert Loggia.
Is that T.S. Eliot?
We're going to live on.
I got tired and unpatriotic.
We're going to survive.
Wait, he's gonna finish it.
Here it is.
Today, we
We celebrate our Independence Day! Yeah! Oh, my teeth! Oh!
Okay.
Okay, so
So that was Independence Day.
then
In case you hadn't seen
that's
it.
and then they all get firebombed.
I'm genuine cult.
Okay. Spoiler alert. That's sort of towards the end.
That's near the end of Independence Day, which
Things
is
turn out okay.
it's coming back in 3D. I hear.
Genuine cold chills. Just
so-
I heard Randy Quaid's method acting when he thought about for his big final moment
Yeah.
was the time that he flew a plane into a spaceship. So that was the people were to be fair.
They got the right guy.
The aliens were tracking his every move, so he had to do what he had to do.
So before we pass off to Justin, one other quick answer. Is it similar to The Last Guy? Yes, it's less of like a shootery thing than The Last Guy, but yeah, there is definitely a huge Last Guy vibe, which was a great PSN game.
Yeah.
So let's throw it over to you, Mr. Justin.
Me.
Let's pull that mic up on you though before you start up.
It's really
If you can get it, even get
It's
closer.
like in your ear, but that's. I think just aim it towards your mouth.
Should I clip
your,
it?
Your sounds come out of your mouth hole.
Is this better?
Yeah.
No, it won't stay out.
Clip it.
Just clip it right there. Maybe talk to your left like you had a stroke. That's great.
I'm saying I had a bad toothache. So what did I play? E3 was a mixed bag, I think you could say, for me, in that I kept wanting to put it down because it was heavy. But there
The
was,
bag? You're
yeah,
still going with the bag analogy?
It's a bad doof.
Yeah. There was one thing though in the bag that I wanted to take out and keep playing with, like the one toy you get at the grocery store. And that game was, you could call it spectacular, you could call it exhilarating, but I call it amazing. The amazing.
Are you about to bring Spider-Man
Oh my
into
God.
the equation?
No,
The
you didn't
amazing-
like this game.
The Amazing Spider-Man. What are you talking about?
Did you not read his
Amazing
preview?
Spider-Man.
He really liked it.
Did you not read
Effusive.
my effusive, glowing preview? Go to theverge.com/gaming and Google Spider-Man.
Did you only see one game during the show?
I saw one game, and that game was Amazing Spider-Man, and it looked great. No, I saw many games. Fair warning, I'm a big
Spider-Man
fan.
fetishist.
No, I like Spider-Man. Okay, Spider-Man games, I'm deep into.
Well, let me ask you, is it just because the last Spider-Man game was so horrible?
No,
that you thought this
no,
one-
no, it's not that at all. Okay, do we have a trailer? Jonathan, do we have a trailer we can put on?
Kip!
Kip? Jonathan,
No,
can you get Kip and ask him if we can get the trailer?
died.
Kip!
Ah, here we are.
Yeah.
The trailer.
This city can never be saved. I see that now. I am destroying monsters that threaten to annihilate the city. What is more pure than good against evil? Wakey, wakey, Spider-Man. How would you like your tombstone to read? Spider-Man or Peter Parker?
I only want to focus on two mechanics. The first is web rush. So what's web rush? If you, at any point during the game, when you're the Spider-Man, you can
Isn't
push.
that every point during
Yeah,
the
you
game?
can push the. You don't actually see it here, but you kind of do. You can push the web rush button, and that'll free. Like you're seeing him do it here. That'll freeze the environment, and you can actually you can actually, you'll see silhouettes of Spider-Man all throughout the environment. So you can point to a distant building or a rooftop over here, and he'll map a path through the environment that looks really cool. So he'll run across the building, jump over to the lamppost, spin off the lamppost, and then go to the place you wanted to. You can get out of that at any point. You can web zip out of it and swing away. This is an open world, free roaming, all of Manhattan you can swing through.
Wait, this is a Spider-Man game with an open world Manhattan?
Yeah.
This is like, you can go anywhere in Manhattan, any of the streets.
Well,
you can go to Times
Fresh
Square.
Stick, I know you're being a little sassy here, but for the past 2 Spider-Man games, it has not been in an open world. Spider-Man...
But it was on the original Xbox.
in Spider-Man 2...
Spider-Man 2 was...
Finally, they have the technology of 2004.
Well, it looks really nice now. But anyway, so you can use that web rush, actually, you don't have to slow down time. You can just look at a different direction and automatically do it. So you can get around the environment that way, and he'll map a really cool path through it, and it'll look awesome. You also use the web rush in boss fights. You can target the boss, usually at a time when you've like beaten him up a little bit. You can target the boss and zip over to him and do some sort of cool looking attack. So that's the one.
So basically, just regarding the boss fights, so you like fight, like, did you see a boss fight?
Yeah, I saw him fighting Rhino, actually.
Okay, so Rhino, you fight Rhino and you're like punching him and like using webs and stuff like that.
Right.
And then he gets weak and he like goes down on he's like tired. And then you go over and like punch him.
Now you web rush at him.
You web rush at him and you do damage.
You do damage. It's like
so they're like a completely original boss fight system that no one has ever done. They're really like tapping into all.
They're really what they're doing is they're making a Spider-Man game that feels like Spider-Man. The last game, Edge of Time, sort of cast Spider-Man as like a generic action hero. First off, it was all indoors in one like shitty factory of science.
How many times did you die just by like severe head trauma? It's like, here I go! Ugh! Damn it!
Dead. And that was a real bummer. This is actually the team that did Shattered Dimensions, which was really decent. I mean, it had 4 different Spider-Mens, and that team has been working on this game for the past couple of years, while the crappy B team made Edge of Time, which was terrible.
But they'll be back next year.
Here's hoping. The cool thing about the combat, the first thing they're doing is they're bringing the camera in really close. They're not zooming out. They're putting you right over his shoulder. It's almost like a Gears of War perspective on the camera. There. You can
so this
see
is the web rush.
This is the web rush. Yeah. You can point to different targets and he'll go there in a really cool looking way.
So he'll do all the swinging for you.
Right, he'll do this.
Because my least favorite thing in like Spider-Man 2, the movie, the game, was how fun it was to move around the city with web. I was always like, man, I just wish the computer would just take control from me and just like do this thing.
This is so unenjoyable that I wish I didn't
remember when I
have to play
played Final Fantasy VII, and I was like,
Yeah?
I wish I could just watch this.
Oh, it's such a good story.
Okay. So anyway, the combat is not just punching and kicking. There's a much more focus on agility. All the combat's inspired by luchadors. So it's about using the enemy's weight against them and flips and acrobatics much more than it is about punching someone into submission. It feels much more authentic to the character. But it looks great.
Oh, look, a weak red spot.
Yeah, look. Okay, listen.
So I'm going to answer a few questions from the readers. One,
me. I'll answer anything
is
about
Justin wearing slippers?
Yes, next.
Yes, next. Is Spider-Man
they're
like...
Actually, they're money slippers.
They're money slippers.
They're money slippers paid for by Zen Studios, the makers of Pinball and Pinball.
Wow.
Catch it.
And Dance Kick.
And Dance Kick, catch it, Pinball.
Is Spider-Man like Dyad?
Is Spider-Man like Dyad? No, I could understand Spider-Man. It didn't make me want to have an aneurysm. I totally got it.
Just so this is I'm gonna clue people in on something. The best game of E3 is not being decided right now.
Yeah, no.
The best game
Y'all
of the
need to chill.
Besties
This is non-canonical.
is being decided
We
right
should
now.
actually take this time to say we're going to be doing this for 3 hours, circling out and getting basically the whole Polygon crew in
Yeah,
here.
the super serious. If you're like, what is the best game of E3? I
Yeah.
need to know it now. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that in about an hour and a half.
Wait, should I have picked a crappier game? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying that the super serious one.
Oh my god. Oh, it's you and the Dyad guy.
My favorite point of this is when you asked him if this is like drugs, and he was so uncomfortable.
And if you look at this cat, he knows what drugs are like. Sir,
He likes to party
sir,
on
look
drugs.
you have drugs in your beard. What are you saying? You know what drugs are, my dog.
Diet is actually super fun.
But that's
I don't want us to say, you know. Sorry, we're not talking about diet. We're talking about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I can't get excited for it, and I'll tell you why.
You
It's
saw
not.
that trailer.
No, shush. It's not because it doesn't look good. It's because I can't let my heart. I think I'll only enjoy it if I don't look forward to it. You know what I mean? It's
I don't know what you mean.
It's like the silence. If I look at it, then it disappears. You know what I mean? It's like
Doctor Who.
it's a Doctor Who reference.
Oh, I think
Wow.
Listen, but
How many episodes would I have had to have watched to get that?
up to
700?
the 6th season. Like, if I start getting excited about it, my expectations are going to be too high. Spider-Man is a low expectation game.
Yep.
You got to keep it down because they already made the best Spider-Man game that's ever going to be made.
What is it?
Spider-Man 2, the movie, the game.
Okay, Spider-Man 2, the movie, the game is not the best Spider-Man movie.
No,
and
no, I like the
that's-
cell-shaded one. That was the best one.
Oh, fuck that.
Spider-Man.
That was
What?
Ultimate Spider-Man? Are you
good.
shitting me?
Good, I liked it. You fight Wolverine.
Okay, you fight Wolverine in the best Spider-Man game, which is Spider-Man Web of Shadows, developed by the Shaba Games. Of course, I'm out from a voice of Shaba. The best game. Who played Web of Shadows in this room? Web of Shadows. Okay, you didn't get enough in Web of Shadows. Web of Shadows.
I don't even know.
Spider-Man 2, the movie, the game, or the original Spider-Man on the PlayStation that had the ending just be like all the bad guys were just playing cards and like, oh, that Spider-Man really does suck, right? And they're like,
that really how that
yeah,
game
yeah, he really does suck. And they're like,
I would
this
also like to
sucks.
put Spider-Man 3, the movie, the game, into running because it had the best quick time event failure cutscenes. Like the one where you're
die,
flying,
right?
you're whipping through a burning room to rescue a woman strapped to a bomb, and if you fail, you just fall into the fire. And she just closes up on her face, and she just goes, "I'm gonna die," and then the building explodes.
Sorry, lady.
It's the best thing ever. You gotta YouTube that one.
Please, are there people in the chat room that are like, Web of Shadows is so great? You
Web of Shadows is a piece of shit, but underneath that, Web of Shadows, yeah. Underneath that, oh shit, the slippers are about to come off.
That's how bad it
Yeah,
is.
it's a divisive room.
Yeah,
Clearly, there's
this is
not
a
lot
split.
of agreement.
And people are impressed that for once I'm not the person bringing the shitty game.
It's a good game. Look at it. You saw the trailer. Look at the market.
Okay.
The only thing that matters for the game is the marketing.
We're skipping past this. We're gonna answer one more question for a little intermission break.
Wait, can I tell you one more thing?
Tell me
about-
what? Oh my god.
One more
Make
thing.
it quick. We got it. We're 30 minutes in. We got
Okay,
it.
one more thing about Amazing Spider-Man. It's got Bruce Campbell in it, making his triumphant return to the series as an extreme sports reporter that flies around in a blimp and critiques you. Now, here's
At
what's
first
funny
I
about this.
was-
The only reason Bruce Campbell was involved with the Spider-Man games is because Sam Raimi did it. Sam Raimi has no connection to this new movie. Bruce Campbell just says, did someone say they had a few spare $100? Can I be in your video game?
Can I be
please?"
Briscoe County Jr. in
And
this
you paid
one?
for the taxi for me to get there.
Apparently, Burn Notice isn't cutting the bills.
Not paying the bills. But,
Okay, so real quick intermission question: which trailer has the best dubstep of E3?
that was some pretty fresh
It's
stuff.
some
Well, it's
fresh.
that Borderlands, obviously.
Borderlands is
They've been
really
running
good.
that on a loop.
There's that Far Cry stuff that they've been doing forever.
Internet Explorer 9.
Oh, the IE9 though. Feels just like a.
Let's move on.
Okay, so Griffin,
This guy.
tell us about your game.
Continuing the streak of unlikely nominees, I'm going to put forward Neverwinter. Now I know if you had said, Griffin, in a year you're going to put forward a free-to-play MMORPG from Perfect World Entertainment, I would have slapped the beer out of your hand and called you a liar to your face.
Yeah.
But it's really good. The demo I played, I've been following the game for a while. This is the first time that they've let you go hands-on with the game, but last year was when they showed off the Foundry mechanics, which were in Star Trek Online, which I'm sure everyone played.
Oh yeah, I missed that one.
It's basically a huge, super accessible engine for level and quest making, which they tied into Star Trek Online in a really clever way, and they're tying into Neverwinter in a really clever way too. But this was the first time I ever got to go online with it. And it's an action MMORPG, which is sort of becoming the trend with games like Terra is like
Yes.
that. What's that? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Let's do the trailer, and then we'll talk about the game.
Dylan, can you play the trailer?
Tev?
Tev?
Tever?
Tevrin, can you pull up the trailer, please?
Tylus?
Silas, I'll have your head.
I think we're watching.
Hurry! You must escape! The foul... Run! Run, child, run!
Let me just say, best graphics of
All
in engine.
All real time, all in game.
Oh my god, why did you waste my time?
Tevrin,
Tevrin gameplay, please, Tevrin.
shuttle.
Let's put some gameplay in the background.
We'll find-
oh, it's D&D.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
How did you
Don.
not know that?
Oh no.
Yeah, so it's D&D. Let me
It's
give you the
free-to-play
Let me give you the
D&D.
pitch. It's a free to play
Oh
D&D.
no.
I have a free to
I'm
play
in
D&D.
trouble.
It's called D&D.
Those books are like $90 a pop.
Yeah, this is expensive.
It's called a local
Do you know how much
library.
a figurine
Holmes.
costs? Like one
It's like
figurine
$15
costs
a
like
pop. Yeah, they're
You don't think
really
it's a
expensive.
figurine.
Anyway, let me get into it.
Okay.
It uses all of the same vernacular of D&D 4th edition. So the three classes are like a protection warrior, which is like a class and specialization in D&D, and then there's a rogue type guy and a mage type guy. And it's an action MMO, so it's not just clicking on a guy and then pressing on whatever power you want to use until they die. You actually have to block and dodge out of the way and use your skills wisely and quickly, and you can't lock on anything. You actually have to aim at them and make your attacks actually connect. But I see a lot of MMOs going towards this trend of making people this jack of all trades that can do anything and be anything, and that's really not what D&D has ever been about.
Yeah.
And I don't really like that in a game. I like having a role, and I like filling it and learning how to fill it and doing it well. And that's sort of what Neverwinter is all about. So the system they have in place is they have at-will powers, which you can use with left-click and right-click, sort of like in Diablo, and also in D&D 4th edition.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like
Yeah.
4th edition.
And then they have encounter powers, also from 4th edition, which have a recharge, but they're more powerful. But you earn ability points by filling your class's role. So like as a defender, I had to get aggro from the enemies by using my powers to like attract their attention, and then use the block key when it looked like they were about to attack to deal away with as much damage as I possibly could and make sure that the rest of my team wasn't doing it. And as I did that, I built ability points, which I didn't if I just ran into a fight attacking, which is not what a defender is supposed to do. Yeah, and when you fill up the ability points, you do this super powerful attack that helps you either fill your role or just do a whole bunch of damage.
I love D&D, but what I like about D&D more than most video games is like it lets you do crazy stuff. Like you can kind of just improvise.
Yeah.
Is there anything even close to that in the game?
I mean, the demo they showed me was just basic, sort of showing off the relationship, the class-based relationship between like party members. There's some stuff. There's players have skills. So I was walking into this room with a treasure chest in it. I was like, oh yeah, I don't mind if I do. And a rogue sprinted in front of me.
Nice.
And as soon as he ran in front of me, traps appeared in the room because he saw them with a perception check. Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
then he unlocked the
neat.
chest. Yeah, it's like a neat. I
So
think
are those-
stuff like that is.
So there are checks,
I should say
there's
there's
full
stuff like
checks.
that in Dungeons and Dragons Online. Like there's another Dungeons and Dragons MMO.
Yeah, I don't worry about that.
No, sorry. But this one's more action oriented than that, and it has some really clever ways of tying in D&D stuff like into it. And all they haven't like specified what the stuff is going to, what the payment plan is going to be for. I mean, it's going to be free to play, but they haven't specified what you're going to spend money on for microtransactions.
Pets?
Pets, probably, vanity items, stuff like that. But from what I can tell, like, for free, they'll probably tie it into the Foundry somehow, maybe. That's the best thing I can figure out. The best way to monetize it is make it so that if you want to make a bunch of quests and make a bunch of dungeons, then you know.
So you can make
pay a
quests
little
for
bit.
your friends.
Yeah, that's
and
what's so
basically
cool.
pay
You
as a
can
DM.
you can build entire dungeons
Oh,
and
no.
people in those dungeons and like quest points and build these super customizable quests in this really easy engine, and then attach them to points in the real world. So that once you get this quest, it's like go to this door in this village,
that's-
open it
That's
up, and then you're in
cool.
a player.
Can you
made
play
dungeon.
as? Can you like play as DM while they're on the quest and like
I don't
add
think
stuff?
no, I don't think you can have that
That'd be
level of
nice.
interaction with it. But like, I wish I could go over more of the Foundry stuff they showed me. It really
Yeah.
is like if you want to make a quest, you open up a window and create like a flow chart of how you want the quest to go, and that's it. They made one in like
That's
15
awesome.
minute when I watched it last time.
This is just a little bit of brilliance I just had in my head. Man, Wii U needs a D&D game.
Yeah, it does.
Like if using the Wii U controller for the DM and
Yeah.
having all their tools on there, and then have the players playing on the TV, that'd be
cool.
This is the
nice.
first D&D video game that I have played that really captured that like don't split the party feel. Like it really captured the work together. When I was like hulking out and like attracting all the attention in the room while the rogue was sneaking up behind people and backstabbing them, and the wizard was like hanging back and controlling the whole flow of it.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like playing 4th edition,
That's
even though
cool.
it wasn't like the meticulously slow turn-based strategy.
So
No.
one thing that I'm a little worried about is, so D&D obviously excels when you're with friends.
Yeah.
And that would, the pen and paper as well as in video games. Mm-hmm. And I'm worried there's these scenarios when you're playing like an online MMO, like, oh, the dude that's at home all day and he levels up beyond everyone, and then I don't have like a tank for my group.
Yeah.
But it's so co-op centric.
Sure. I mean, there is they've shown off like a dungeon finder, which is sort of becoming commonplace for an
Yeah.
MMO. Where if it does happen, and your one friend is like a jerk and is like, I want to be level 30, while
Yeah.
you guys are all down in the the tens, then you can just queue up in a dungeon finder and either go into one of the dungeons that you've done or into a player-made quest, like without having to go anywhere.
Now I'm going to answer a few questions before you go on.
Justin
And the
could
first
give less
one-
of a fuck.
Yeah. If
No,
you
wait,
think
hold
that
on.
D&D is bullshit, you can do me a favor and go fuck yourself.
It's
because
super good.
Because anyone who says that and also plays video games, that's a weird disconnect. Because it's basically everything that video games have been based off of. If you really don't like D&D and at the same time you love video games, you just haven't tried it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Need a female co-host this time. Thanks, jackass.
Aww.
I'm not falling asleep. I'm right awake right now. Let's see. Anything else? No. Let's talk about Russ's game.
Did you see how efficient that was, by the way?
That was
6
smooth.
minutes
In
in and
pitch.
out.
You know who's going to be even better at a pitch?
You, because you have 20 minutes?
I've got 20 minutes,
No, I want to
and
be
they
done.
start
This is
right
boring.
now.
Go.
My game is called
You're not gonna sing, are you?
The Last of Us. The Last of Us, we're living in a world of mushroom people. Guess what happened the other day? I was hugging a mushroom person and then they bit me. Ellie and the guy are friends. And then, okay.
No. I'm not kidding with you. I want a 5-minute ballad right now.
And I want to go get some pizza, so you go ahead.
What, you're gonna, I can't pitch the, they're throwing food now.
Did you throw orange
Okay.
at me?
No. Oh, this is great because this is called actual gameplay that we're showing. This is not a cutscene.
We're not showing yet.
But it's not. They can't see it on the stream.
Not yet.
Keep it popping. Keep
Okay.
it popping.
Last of Us. It's made by the people that made Uncharted. But this game is like a more grounded.
Sorry.
What?
Okay, we're gonna cut to it soon. Ready?
No, just let it play. Just let it play.
Yeah, just let it play. I'll talk over it. I can talk over it. So. what-
By the way, somebody already said I won. They basically have given up on you already.
What, you won?
Yeah, of course, because you just did that dopey song and you brought the most expensive game in the world.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
How much
big.
is your game?
Yeah, my game is like, I don't know, probably
This,
like
this
$5
game was
to
made
make.
by two guys in Toronto. It's an indie studio. I know
Jean-Paul Baptiste worked on this, didn't he?
He tried to. They wouldn't have him for whatever reason.
He was too busy working on the angry pigeon.
Yeah.
No, he's working on Minecraft. So, yeah, what you're seeing here is an indie game. It's downloadable. It's available for $5.
Is he gonna shoot him? Ooh.
I don't like the shooting.
Ooh, I don't want to. Ooh, no. Oh.
Okay, so wait, I'm gonna hop in because so there's this demo that was shown to everybody, right?
Yeah.
They're like this is the violent demo, And then behind closed doors, you can see the not violent demo. So I went in, I'm like, oh, this is like kind of, he's going to kind of sneak by. These are innocent people. They don't even want to start a fight with him. The first thing he does, he goes in a room, and the people see him, and they're like, oh shit, run, it's that guy. He just fucking shoots him in the face.
No, for the record, they're not innocent dudes.
I hear about this guy. He kills everybody for no reason.
Everybody. He chokes them.
They're like mercenaries.
Why would there be, what are the mercenaries doing here?
They're looking for gold.
They work for the zombies.
Why is there gold and...
There's a treasure hiding underneath a temple.
Oh,
and that's where they need to go.
The Last of Us Gold Edition.
Right.
It's Super Mario Bros. 2 meets The Last of Us.
So I know I'm really bad at selling games, but I think the gameplay
That's why we have you on our show.
You haven't even started. All you do
No, I
is say
sang.
some
You remember I sang?
dumb shit, and you sang some shit, and then
Because you guys...
Well, I think your problem is that you pick games like The Last of Us,
Yeah.
and you can't.
it's
Everybody
really hard.
knows what the. No, it's not hard at all. You say it's The Last of Us. Everybody reaches in their brain and say, "Oh, I remember when I saw that and heard about it for the past 18 months." Of course.
Should I pick another game?
No,
you can't pick
play
another
this
game.
game.
You got the
It's
footage
a
ready
fantastic
already.
game.
Yeah,
Defend it.
fantastic.
Yeah, now you defend it. I just did your job for you.
Well, okay, so in this industry,
Oh
sometimes
my God!
there are...
If you start a sentence with that ever again,
What?
I'll literally
in
punch
this
you nuts.
industry, I'm just
I'm
saying.
Tell me, Michael Packer.
There's plenty of Call of Duties in the world.
everybody pack a
yeah.
tiny.
Yeah, not enough games with zombies.
Medal of
in
Honor
a brown
in the world.
space.
Sure.
What this is a tiny indie studio in Toronto
Shut up.
made by 2 people for
I
$5
was thinking
coming
of
out
Super
next week.
Brothers.
Downloadable.
Wait, I do like this comment from Quick Blink. They're from Pittsburgh. No way they are innocent.
Oh, burn. Mega burn.
Wow.
Like that-
Yeah, commenter of the night.
This was by far the best game I saw all week. It's rare that there's a game that you can show the world as a whole. Even non-gamers can watch footage of this and I think be really impressed.
Someone wants to know if you got to play Last of Us.
Yes, as a matter-
Oh, you're allowed to say
I can
that?
say that I
Yeah.
played it.
Tell us what
You
you
played it with
got to
your
play.
hands?
No, here's what you got to play. Tell us what you got to play. Because it's great. Are you allowed to say it?
I'm thinking I can say that I played it. I don't know that I could actually say specifically what I played.
Tell me how the game ends.
So
talking about the ladder?
you get into the temple, the door opens, and all the mushroom people stream out, and they're like, "We're better," and then it's over.
Here's what's up. Just say. I have no idea if this is right or not. Joel gets infected, and Ellie has to kill him. That's how it has to end, right?
Oh, no doubt.
It has to end like that.
No,
Oh, so the second game
His
stars
whole
Ellie?
head turns into a mushroom. She puts on a pink dress, and then he steals her, and
Holy-
then she goes, Mario! Mario!
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
fucking freakful,
Oh,
dog. And think about it. Look at this world, and then everybody go look up Bob Hoskins' Super Mario Brothers the movie, and don't
then
tell
go
me
look at Bob Hoskins in
And look-
Super Mario Brothers movie.
And then find out who actually made Super Mario Brothers the movie.
It's a
Check
fun-
that out.
No, but that movie, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's New York filled with fungus.
Fungi people.
Hey, Griffin.
Super Mario
my
Brothers.
God.
the
I didn't
movie
want to
and
bring
Last
this
of Us
whole.
are the same.
I didn't
thing.
want to bring this whole thing down, but I did want to tell you I have Bob Hodgkin's lymphoma. So it's pretty serious right now, and that is the Mushroom Man disease.
Sure.
So I'm pretty broke up about it.
Yeah.
But
Where is it?
Does the chat room care about anything about this game?
Does it care?
I like that he becomes Toad. That does make perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
He turns into Little Toad. He loses 5 feet.
Yeah.
right.
And he turns into Little Toad
He loses
Man.
5 feet in mushroom weight.
Okay. So
Okay,
Last of
so
Us?
I think we're wrapping it up. Oh yeah, the audience gets to decide who our winner is
Yeah.
for today.
But let's battle to see if our consensus agrees with theirs.
Okay. Fine.
Okay, so here's what I have to say. My game is the best.
I forget what it is.
Project P100?
Okay.
I'm sorry. It was like Pikmin, but fun and great. So good that Nintendo was scared of it, and they hid it from their press conference.
Sure.
It was that good. They were like, this is going to scare people away from our Pikmin game.
Let's go by, scientifically, because the first one we get rid of should always be scientific and mathematical.
right.
What are you doing?
I just-
What have you been doing this whole, is it that there are people eating
There's
over
food
there?
over there, and you're zonked about it.
You've been out for like 20 minutes, like excited about skirt steak.
Just thinking about the pizza.
I don't even know if there is pizza. I've been thinking about it. You guys, I mean,
Is it the slippers? Is that why you're so like?
I think that's why I'm so cash right now.
Oh.
Now you only have cash. Oh, that's bad. That's not a good sign.
It's all right.
Justin,
It's fine.
your game.
Whip. Cosplay.
So it's not Spider-Man.
Convention season.
This is
Cosplay.
This is the Justin I've wanted for the past 20 minutes. It was
Then
the-
stop talking about boring things. He's lying about Last of Us. You're telling me about a game that's in a book. Like, what are you doing? This is video game. This is Electronic Video Game Convention 3.
Okay.
That's
Okay?
why you brought a movie game to the battle.
It's not a movie game. It's not cinematic. It's pure full-bore action. Griffin's game is anti-imagination.
Not true.
Russ's game.
Mine's trading cards.
It's anti-in.
has
My
trading
game is the
cards
only
in it.
one with user-generated content in it.
That's a cheap way of saying slave labor, I think.
Yep.
You're right about that.
Yeah. Griffin's
But it's just
game's
more. It's more game for me to play. So I don't. I mean, I use an iPhone. You don't hear me. Asking where the bad iPhone making place
Thanks,
is.
Steve Jobs.
Okay, so it's not. I think we've narrowed it down to 2. I'm sorry, and it's me and Last of Us.
It's what?
It's our 2.
Okay, we're gonna decide between ourselves, and then we'll do winners bracket, losers bracket.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay. I can't get excited about Spider-Man. Are we gonna go at the same time,
Let's just
or
boot Spider-Man.
I can't get excited about it?
We're
Looks
booting Spider-Man. There's no
gone.
way
It's
Spider-Man
gone.
is there.
and just saying cost to funds.
We're gonna narrow it down to 2 for the audience.
But I do want the audience to know. No. The audience gets a complete vote
Okay, fine. They get a
on
complete
whatever they want.
How are we gonna? What? We're gonna count all the comments?
Oh, we'll be able to get a vibe.
Okay, guys. I think we've had enough of this. Before we go, I'm gonna do something really stupid, and I'm gonna say something actually good about Russ's game that he didn't say, which was everything about the game.
Yeah, sure.
One of the cool things.
I mentioned the trading card element,
Somebody asked
didn't I?
about the inventory in it.
Oh, yeah.
What was really cool is like when he finds stuff in the game when he's going around, he just loads up like a badass. Like he finds like a bottle, and he's like, "Bah!" and he just carries it around like this.
Is he a
and then
bear?
and then he'll find like a steel pipe and be like, and he like throws it on his back. Like,
honey.
it's not like Nathan Drake where he's like, I've got a rocket launcher and a sniper rifle. And he's like, boop-a-doo.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he doesn't. He's just happy that he can fit it on his backpack,
Sure,
maybe at
sure.
best. And he looks like a Neanderthal. And then when I was saying it was violent, the best part was he has the pipe on his back, and he sees a guy. I'm like, oh, that guy's gonna get a pipe to the face. But instead, on the way to the pipe, there's a brick. So naturally, he picks the one that's going to bludgeon the face more. He just kind of runs, picks up, and just pulverizes the man. He hits him once, and that guy's dead. He hits him another 3 times,
And then
just to
it's
mess his face.
Just to feel something.
And the
Now,
other thing
in
that-
Home Alone, do you mind?
Go on.
Home Alone 2, Alone in New York.
Yes,
Yep.
saw it.
Lost in New York.
Lost in New York. He throws not 1, not 2, but 3 bricks off the building and hits the
Joe Pesci.
non-Pesci.
Those are
Non-Pesci.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Daniels?
Those are traveling.
Jeff Daniels. He
Daniels.
hits Jeff Daniels in the dome. Like
And those are
from,
moving at 9.8 meters per second.
they reach terminal velocity 2 floors up.
Here we go.
How do you
That was lightning quick.
Some science.
All right, now watch this. Last of Us, I'm saying is horseshit and should be disqualified for this very reason. Look at
Okay.
this. Pesci and obviously Jeff Daniels are talking. Bieber's up there and he's like, "I'm gonna throw a brick at you," and they're like, "Come on, he's a little kid. We can take him. We can take him home." And then after, please go ahead, Pesci. And then give it your best shot, he says, and Bieber's like, "I think I will."
I think he said, okay.
And then he's like, "Come on, I just want to hug you."
Travis,
And
this isn't the most violent thing that happens in the movie.
I've never had a son of my own, and we would like
we
to have
both,
you.
We both have mushroom disease.
We have mushroom disease. We'd like to give it to you as our son. Come home. We have a
Come live with us. We'll be your new dads.
Come on, Dad City over here. You know
Like
you want
Dyad,
that.
he also knows a bit about drugs.
Right.
I would love to have you as my son. You're so pretty.
Are we gonna get to
Daniels
this
doing
brick?
with his face over
Jeff
here?
Daniels is acting, Justin.
Yeah, that's called the Meisner technique.
All right.
Do you
Oh,
know
here we
nothing-
go. Okay.
Stupid kid. We're gonna get him. Let me just Something's in my.
Can I, if I just could ask you one
Oh,
quick
brick.
question?
Dead instantly.
Oh, that.
This moment right here.
Did that buffer right at the perfect?
No, they paused it.
Oh, that's
Dead.
wonderful.
Dead instantly.
Okay, so that's all I'm saying is that happened to him once.
He said,
and-
"My friend's dead."
Okay, one more thing about Last of Us, and
I
then we'll
think you
vote.
could live.
One more thing, no. The other thing that they
Should
show
we
in
keep
the
watching
trailer.
this clip? Because
no,
it's
no,
probably the
I-
best thing we've had this entire episode.
The other thing about Last of Us, you know when he shoots him in the face in the end of that trailer and it goes red?
Yeah.
So at the end of the demo I saw, he shoots a guy in the face with a pistol twice. and the girl's not there yet.
Oh no!
Oh golly! Oh golly, Jay.
But the girl's not there yet, and blood starts to pool, and it looks really believable. But the blood basically fills the hallway, and the girl comes in, she's like, oh.
Yeah, she's 14 years old.
See, that's
Yeah.
what. That's
How
what I
old were
like.
you when you first saw a man get shot in the head or thrown a brick at
I
his
think
head?
this girl's seen a lot of people get shot if she's been living in Mushroom Kingdom for the last 15 years.
All right, let's have a
Okay,
vote.
let's have a vote. Everybody, we're officially starting the vote now. So I'm refreshing the page, and...
Pick based on not how horribly I pitched the game, but how good.
Oh, don't worry. People have already mentioned that.
You
People
gotta
have
go
already
on.
said-
Times are tight in this. Times are tight in our
I'm
economy.
really bad at
You gotta go on
picking
value. You gotta go on imagination and fun. We got a Chris. We got a Russ. We got a When Does Giant Bombs live stream start?
That's cool.
I think it's a soon. Tell them it's soon.
So how many Griffins so far would you say?
I am not seeing any right now. At the moment.
Chris, P100. You have one, so pull up your
Yes.
fingers.
Okay, that's two. Okay, all right, well,
When does Giant
Vote.
Bomb's live stream start?
Vote for indie games.
We covered that.
Vote for indie games. That's all I'm saying.
Dad City, Justin with a lot of N's. I'm gonna count that as two. Griffin, I'm seeing. Griffin has just said I like Griffin's game for the
3,
Polygon account.
4. You have 1, 2, 3.
I'm only
4,
saying-
Last of Us. Look at all the
5.
people that love. You know what? Maybe it was my.
Wait,
awesome
26
pitch.
new comments. Griffin, Justin.
Oh no.
Last
Chris.
of Us.
Oh,
Last of
Justin,
Us,
keep him coming,
P100,
baby. Keep him
P100,
coming. Flip.
P100, P100, Dad City.
No, he was
Plant
only winning
wins.
the P100 ones.
That's like 20
It was
P100s.
a lot of P100.
Guys,
I think we have a winner.
I cannot believe the only Wii U game won.
Guys.
That statistically speaking,
stunning.
it's really
guys,
improbable.
here's the good news. P100 has officially won the Besties Best of E3. Something tells me Last of Us just might make an appearance at the actual Best of E3 discussion later tonight live stream.
Starring
Call
someone not me.
Call me crazy, but I
Call me
think,
maybe.
Call me maybe, baby. I think it might show up.
Okay.
So that has been that is
Better than what's the current best game?
the current best game.
Oh, we can't leverage it back.
We can't compare E3 game to the current best
Yeah.
game. So basically, this was all a waste of everyone's time. We're never
As
going to talk
always.
about it again. Stay tuned. We're going to switch out for a new cast and crew.
What should we watch in the interim? Can we see something?
We're gonna watch
got
something in the
any
interim.
movie clips?
We have something to watch in the interim, but we also have a special video of Adam Sessler doing that thing he does, doing that sweet
Coming
Adam
later.
Sessler
Coming
thing
later.
that's coming in a little bit.
Next up,
Next up, we have.
Stardock, lead designer on a popular game called Civ 5.
Whoa!
Oh wow!
Whoa!
Lead designer on a game called Sim
Where
5.
didn't you tell me?
After the break.
Next up, what? Oh my gosh, he's right here.
Stars are in the
Right
eyes.
after-
Stars in the eyes,
tell
right
him.
after the break.
Tell
So
him.
we're going straight to the break.
Wait, you didn't
I
tell
just
him.
said
Tell
lead
him.
designer.
Russ said what it was. You gotta say what it is.
The lead designer of.
You have to,
said that he's
Russ
not
doesn't have a
on.
microphone on his body. You have to
Civ
say
5.
it for him.
Do you like Civ 5?
Just repeat what I said.
Oh, so the lead designer of Civ 5 is.
Why are you whispering it?
I'm fucking it up.
Civ
Lead
5.
designer
no
of Civ
reason to
5.
whisper.
He's right
Yeah.
here. We're gonna be right back after this break.
Oh my god.
All right, let's move.
Kid. Dragon. Jill sandwich. Do you copy?
Hey, welcome back, guys. I am Russ Pitts, features editor of Polygon. We are here in the live stream, second hour of day 3, 3-hour live stream. The Besties were amazing. That's a tough act to follow. But hey, lucky for you, I've got special guest John Schaefer, Star Doc, working on a game he can't tell me about, and I'm going to get him to try. I'm going to try to get him to many times over the next hour. But what I can tell you is that he worked on a game some of you may know called Civ 5. He was the lead designer on Civ 5, helped revitalize that franchise, and that's a game I'm actually still playing. And I'm here in E3, and I'm thinking about going home and playing that game as soon as I get home. So John, welcome to the Polygon live stream.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. So E3, you have a game you can't really talk about.
Yep. Yeah. Unfortunately, you know, it's kind of the nature of the business. Some of these projects take a little while. So, but you know, hopefully you'll have an opportunity to bring me back, and we can talk about it then.
I will mind that for everything it's worth when you can actually tell me something about it. So, what is that experience like for you at E3? I mean, I imagine it's kind of a juxtaposition. You had an experience of heading up a really popular, expensive game at E3, and now you're here and there's not much to do. It's kind of like a vacation for you, right?
It kind of is, yeah. It's a really neat shift because, you know, as you were saying, on Civ 5 it was a big game. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of attention. My first experience with E3 was actually a couple of years ago, and it was kind of a hectic trip. I think I was actually only at the show for about 2 hours. I was there, I think I did something like 8 interviews, and then I flew back to the East Coast to go back to working on Civ 5 because we were about a month from finishing. So that was a little bit dicey, but yeah, this time I was here the entire week. You know, came and met up with you guys on Sunday. Got up here to LA, and since then, yeah, mostly just been enjoying LA a little bit. But oops.
I'm gonna make sure that's not. Is this making noise when I do this? No? Okay. Just had a thought. It might be making noise.
But yeah, other than that, you know, I've only actually probably been the show about 2 hours again this time, so a little different circumstances though.
So I was actually at that E3, and you guys had a presentation set up, and you were showing some stuff from Civ. That's got to be weird. I mean, you hear all the games in the world, all the game designers in the world, the biggest show of the year for games, and you can't actually go to it.
You know, that's kind of what the show is, though. You know, it's for the benefit of the fans, really, and to get the word out about the games, get people excited, get people interested in what we're doing. So, you know, it's not really supposed to be a vacation. You know, it's nice when it is fun, but you know, it's it is what it is. It's still work. You know, you don't want to slack off too much. That's what the European press tours are for. Those are fun.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about the European press too much. Not that I'm really not gonna go into that, because I think there is some merit in breaking embargoes and scanning Amazon all day. But back to what you're doing at E3. So you've been busy this E3. What have you been busy doing? So tell me about the game you're working on. Do you like that? It was a straight face. I did.
That was good. That was good.
See, I'm liquoring you up. I'm actually probably more liquored up than you are. But no, but seriously.
I won't say it shows, but it shows.
Oh, is that an intervention? Were you telling me that I need to cut down? I mean, we're friends, but I don't know if we're like that close to. All right, this is the last one, and then I'm cut off.
Yeah, that's.
I am driving. This
Hey, it's
show.
only what, 8 o'clock. You know,
It's only 8 o'clock, and it's E3. This is day 3 of E3. You know,
This is-
we're actually celebrating. You guys can't tell, but John walked in the middle of a party atmosphere. We've got a catered dinner happening right behind us. There are chefs actually in our loft here preparing, and everyone here is too busy working to celebrate. But the celebration will begin at some point.
It's like the rest of E3. You know, everybody's like running around.
Yeah, just running around like crazy. So what have you been doing this E3 that's been keeping you so busy?
Well, you know, honestly, not too much. Like I said, I was at the show for about 2 hours, mostly just checking out some of the other things that were going on. Went and said hello to some of my old friends at 2K and Firaxis. I saw the XCOM Enemy Unknown demo over there. There's been a lot of really excited people about that one. So it was really cool to see the demo, because I left Firaxis about 1.5 years ago, and you know, the development on that game was, you know, still a little ways off. It wasn't going to be done for a little while yet. So it's really cool seeing how it's progressed and how it's developed, and it's getting really close, and I'm really excited to play it. I'm glad I have a 2K key on Steam where I get the game and just pops up.
You're a lucky man. Is that what's your perspective like on that? Because then you were able to see it as it was being developed, but then you left, and so then, you know, coming back, what was the thing that most surprised you about the state of the game, or you know, what was the most interesting thing for you about what they're showing here at E3, which is amazing, versus what you saw, you know, what you're seeing before you left Firaxis?
I guess the biggest thing is, and this kind of applies to every game really, whether you work on it or not, anytime you kind of peek behind the curtain, but every project is, you know, it's just that, it's a project. It's something that people work on every day for years, and it's, you know, parts of it are kind of mundane and rote, and, you know, there's a lot of busy work and answering emails and going to meetings and fixing problems and, you know, all this not so sexy, glamorous stuff that people don't really think about when they think about games. And, you know, that kind of runs in complete contrast with something like E3 and seeing a demo where everything is so, you know, presented so made up, so polished and perfect and put together. You know, how's that some alliteration there for you? But yeah, it's the thing that stands out to me most is probably that, where just the contrast between development and just trying to get things in, and you know, all the issues that go with making something, and then seeing it come full circle and be this put together awesome thing that has people so excited. You know, it's as a game developer, it's just kind of a weird thing, because you're working on something, it's just your job really, and the fact that people actually enjoy it and think it's really cool and get really excited about what you're doing is, you know, it's something that I don't know if I'll ever get used to. You know, I just think of it as a job really, and there's a lot of people out there that think it's really cool. I'm not going to argue with them. So it's just kind of a weird, difference between how you feel about it and how a lot of other people do.
Is that kind of what comes through an event like E3 for you? That chance to sort of see through the curtain of, like, you know, the lunches and the meetings and the, you know, and the strategy discussions, and to get this sort of wash of emotion, you know, positive and negative, right, from people who see it differently.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, these shows like E3 are just huge. You know, there's tens of thousands of people just running around, so excited, so happy to be seeing these things that you've worked on, and it's, you know, it's almost surreal in a way. And, you know, it's probably good that it only happens once a year. Otherwise, people's egos in this business would be even bigger than they are. But it's a lot of fun. I mean, I love going to these shows, whether it's E3 or more developer-centric ones like GDC in San Francisco, or PAX East I was just at a couple months ago.
I saw you there.
Yeah, met up. That was a good time.
That was a good time.
Played some games for a little bit.
That was fun. Playing actual games. So what's your favorite show? Do you have a favorite show?
Favorite show. I don't know if I do. I think every time I go, I love that show the most, just because the opportunity to catch up with old friends and meet up with people and see what's going on is just so much fun every time. And that's really what makes all the different shows for me, whether it's a consumer show or if it's a professional show. Just the opportunity to say hi to everybody and hang out and catch up with everybody. That's my favorite part of it, and that's why I try to go as many as I can, because no matter what the show is, you always have that element to it, and that's the best part.
So let's talk a little bit about, we've alluded to it a little bit, but you were at Firaxis 2K, working on Civ 5, one of my favorite games. Now you're working on a game you can't tell me about, but so you can tell me about that game? We won't do that. That was actually really clumsy. I had that in my head. That was a little smoother in my head. That was going to come out really well, and it was going to be perfect, and you would have fell for it, but you didn't, so let's just move on. But you left Firaxis, and now you're at Stardock. And that's, I know to some people that seems a little like a strange move, unusual, for sure. But tell us a little bit about that. I mean, Stardock it's not a small publisher. It's sort of like a mid-sized publisher, definitely smaller than 2K and Firaxis. But one would have to imagine that move comes with a certain amount more freedom and flexibility. Tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, I don't know. This is your story.
No. You're definitely right, and a lot of people have asked me about that, and yeah, the answer really is that at a smaller company like Stardock, which is privately owned and is run by the owner, Brad Wardell. He's kind of been with Stardock from the beginning. I think the company was founded in 1992 or something, long time ago. It's been around for quite a while. But when you have that sort of environment, you just have a lot of creative freedom and flexibility, and that's something that's that can be hard to come by in the big glitzy and clamor industry. There's so much focus on big projects and AAA graphics and spending all this money, and when you go to the show like to a show like E3 and you see these humongous, massive games that have so much money spent on them, there's constraints involved with that too. And a lot of people complain. They say, why is everything a sequel? It's because everything's so expensive that you have to make a sequel, otherwise you can't pay your people. So the thing that's really nice about smaller companies like Stardock is that you can have games that have much lower budgets, and as a designer that's really, really attractive because it gives me more freedom to try different projects in different genres or different themes. It's not always making sequels, or it's not always doing things in a particular way. So as a designer, that's really what you want to have. Having the extra resources is always nice. It wasn't a bad thing by any means. But depending on what your situation is, you have different pluses and minuses wherever you are. And at the stage of the career I was in a couple of years ago, after finishing up Civ 5, I decided I want to go somewhere smaller, has a little bit more opportunity, a little bit more chances to do something different, and I went for it. It's worked out so far, even though I can't talk about what I'm doing. I know you're going to go there.
Yeah, man, you cut me off. Yeah. Well, hopefully we get to see how well that has worked out.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it hasn't. Who knows?
Yeah. We'll try to be kind, but I don't know, John. You haven't shown me anything. Where's the love? I got to see. How does that pitch go? So describe that phone conversation between you and Brad Wardell when you're coming off Civ 5 and he's got this company called Stardock and he wants to hire somebody. How did that work?
Well, it's really funny because Brad had was already familiar with what I'd done. He played Civ 5. He's a big fan of that game as well. So I gave him a call and I let him know I was interested in Stardock. It seemed like a really great place. I've heard good things about it, and he's like, "Hey, let's fly you out right away." I'm like, all right, go talk to Brad, and it was a funny conversation because Brad is very much unlike most CEOs. And when I went to his office and I spoke with him, he was like, "So, what do you want to do? Do you want to do, Project X or Project Y or Project Z or something completely, what do you want to do? You could do whatever you want. Just come on in." And I was like, this is a little unusual. This is not what I expected, not what you usually see. So yeah, right from that beginning introduction, I knew it was kind of a really unique and awesome opportunity because, again, most companies, it's there's a plan, there's a schedule, there's certain things that have to be done, and you're a part of that, and that can be great depending on what you're feeling and where you are in your career. But for me, I wanted that opportunity to kind of do different things. So Brad pretty much said, "Hey, what do you want to do? You let me know what you want to do, and we'll do that." So
it's got to feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. And
it's an offer you can't refuse, right? I mean, you didn't refuse it.
Obviously, I didn't. So yeah.
So what do you want to do? I mean, what if somebody said whatever, what do you want to do? What would that be, John? just spitballing here, just throwing it out.
Well, I won't say anything specific.
Okay.
But to speak in generalities, what I will say is that the thing that appeals to me most is working on different projects and different themes, I guess. So instead of always doing something like always doing military shooters or always doing historical turn-based strategy games or always doing fantasy RTSs or whatever, pick anything you want.
Right.
I like the idea of doing something different every time because making games, and especially as designer and project manager, you're on top of everything. You live and die that project. Everything that goes on, you're feeling it. It's part of you. And if you've been doing that for 3 years straight, just every day, giving everything, by the end you're pretty exhausted. You're pretty tired, and you kind of want to refresh, and you kind of want to do something different. So having the ability to go and do something, maybe completely crazy is really neat. So that's probably thing that really appeals to me most deep down as a game developer and as a designer, is just the opportunity to do different things. Never kind of doing the same thing twice. So, but I won't tell you what I'm doing right now.
You're gonna have to at some point, John. You can't keep that a secret forever.
That's true. If we keep doing this for like 6 hours,
I'm gonna wear you down.
It's gonna happen. If we get to like 3 in the morning and we're still talking here,
Can we roll for 3? Can we go to 3 in the morning? Because I think if we get him to tell us what the next game is, it might be worth it.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah? No? Yes? No?
We can just keep one camera on.
Just keep one camera on. You just leave the lights on. You guys are gonna leave. So it'll just be me and you here until 3 in the morning, and they'll kick us out at some. We have to leave here at some point tomorrow morning. So I think we have until like 9 a.m. Pacific for me to get this out of you. I just need one really bright light bulb. I need a bucket of water. I need a car battery. Are you guys writing this down? I need a car battery, some rubber tubing, and more of this Blue Moon beer. This is actually.
If you get any more of these lights, I'll probably pass out before I tell you anything, and then you'll have wasted 4 hours.
These are actually, it's an illusion. They're not actually hot. They're just very bright, right?
Yeah.
It's movie magic.
It feels like I'm burning, though.
Yeah, it's sort of dark in the rest of it. It's got that theater feel. We're describing things you guys can't see, and that's unfair. But give us a break.
But it doesn't mean we won't continue doing it.
No, exactly. Doesn't mean we won't continue doing it. It also doesn't mean we don't love you. It just means that we're more concerned about ourselves right now than we are about you, and that's just the way it's going to be.
But we do love you.
We do.
So, just not as much as we love ourselves.
We also love, we're going to take advantage of a shift in gears here a little bit to bring on some of our Polygon staff members. Tell us a little bit about their E3s. I think we got next, I don't know, I have the list somewhere, but I think it's Phil and Tracy who are going to be up next. While they're getting their things together and coming on, I did want to ask you, John, what you liked at E3 this year. What did you see that kind of blew your mind and made you feel like this is still the right place for you, this games industry?
Sure. Well, there were 3 games that I really want to see when I came here to E3, and I've talked about one already, which is XCOM from Firaxis, and that was really exciting. I wish they'd have gameplay or playable demos or something. But
well, we got a playable demo. We played a little bit of
it
behind closed doors in a comfortable leather couch.
Oh.
Did I get better treatment than you, John? That's a little shocking. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't have actually brought that up. That was salt in the wound, wasn't it? Now I feel bad. I
think I'm done.
Because I've hurt John's feelings. But please stay, because we have another 13 hours to go on my
So I've heard.
nefarious plan.
Oh,
so you saw XCOM.
Yeah, so I saw
what
XCOM.
else did you see?
A couple other games I was really looking forward to. One is SimCity from EA. That's
Yes.
I'm a PC guy kind of through and through. That's
Sure.
I think I'm going to be making those as long as they still have them. But so SimCity is one definitely that I was really excited to check out, and yeah, it looks like it's coming along.
I would never have thought that they could pull off SimCity multiplayer in such an interesting way. I mean, obviously you can say, okay, well, the object is to build a city. There are many cities in the world, so theoretically we can build multiple cities. But I really like what they're doing with that, and that you design games, so it may not have been a shock to you, but that came out of left field for me. That was a bit of a surprise. And here's Phil Kohler. He's going to mic himself up.
I think it really seems like that's kind of what they made the priority for this game.
Right.
They decided we want to try to make this work. Multiplayer has been a big thing for a while. Co-op has kind of been important for the past several years now. So they really wanted to step back and say, all right, with SimCity, we don't want to just keep adding more and more systems, more and more stuff.
Right.
Managing the sewers is bad enough. We don't need to, go beyond that. So
How far down do you really need to go with that?
that might even be a bit far.
Yeah.
But yeah, picking something like that it seems like the natural progression for a game like SimCity, trying to make it a little bit more interconnected and then appeal to players that enjoy, working with other players, whether they know them or not. But yeah, so I'm definitely excited to check that out. I think that's coming out in 2013. I don't recall correctly.
I think it is next year sometime. I recall being very disappointed. So that for me, that's on the scale of disappointment. There's after E3, there's holiday, there's spring, and then there's summer of 2013. And I want to say it's a 3 or a 4. So I think it's spring or summer.
I'm telling you, I think what these companies need to stop doing is announcing games like 2 years out and just, like 3 months out. Just all right, here's the game. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. And then it comes out. It's just so hard to. It's hard to wait for some of these games. I remember they announced Diablo, like 6 years ago?
Oh, ages ago. and they're the guys. They're the worst about it because they'll say, what, we're making this game that everybody wants, and then nothing for 6 years. I can't keep a secret for 6 minutes. I don't know how they keep a secret for 6 years, but they do it. But it's like you said, it's part of the business. For whatever reason, they have decided that they need to build beats and levels of interest, and that happens. That has to start ridiculously far out.
Yeah.
Yep. Have you seen SimCity on the show floor?
I did not see it on the show floor, but I've seen some videos. I'm pretty interested in that. I used to really like the SimCity games growing up. So the idea of like them honestly trying to do a real like next gen version, because I played what was the one that came out a few years ago? The SimCity like
Societies.
I played that, and that wasn't.
It was very
interesting.
different.
It
was
some really
very
good
different.
Ideas, but it wasn't quite up to that level.
Yeah.
SimCity level.
I heard they changed a number of things through patching and through further development, and kind of added a little bit more gameplay, I guess. One of the complaints people had was that it was kind of too sandboxy in a way, and there weren't enough goals. So I heard that, I didn't play it later, but I heard from people that they kind of added more to that. So in case anybody wants to pick up SimCity Societies for $5 somewhere, I don't know. It's out there, but gear yourself up for the new one coming out. SimCity, I guess it's just SimCity now.
It's just SimCity, yeah.
It's a relaunch. It's a gritty relaunch.
Yeah, I guess once you get too many numbers, the numbers are too high. They just, we're done. We're going to reset.
Well, how can you
Except for Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy, they will not stop adding numbers to that. And they're adding multiple sets of numbers, which just, I've never played a Final Fantasy game, so take this for what that's worth. But how can you do 13.2?
13.2, yeah.
That makes no sense to me.
There was 10.2 and 13.2. But I was.
But wouldn't that be 14? I mean, I'm the one who's never played Final Fantasy, so clearly there's something there that I don't get.
14's already out.
I was seriously confused.
14 version 2.0 is coming next year.
It's hilarious because I was
rocking my world.
I was reading up some last night, and I saw some reference to Final Fantasy 14 art. I'm like, Final Fantasy 14, is that a new one? And I was like, wait a minute, no, that already came out, and that was the MMO. You know, I think that's the point.
They are actually. I did an interview with Square. That's one of the things that I did here at E3. Talk to them about Final Fantasy XIV version 2.0, which they are launching next year, and it's essentially a whole new MMO. Like they've completely rebuilt the game from the ground up. A whole new engine, whole new like combat system, everything about it completely new. Whole new story, like everything.
Well, one thing's probably for sure. It's either going to be really good or really not good.
Really the opposite of good.
14 was I got stuck playing 14 and it was very, very bad.
Now again, I don't know. You're obviously a fan.
I like Final Fantasy.
You're a fan.
Sure, yeah.
To me, that sounds like they just don't know what they're doing. They're just making shit up. But as a fan, is there a logic to that, or are they just making shit up?
To which part? To like the recreating 14 as a totally different game?
We'll start with that.
I think the logic for that. I think the logic for that is just they're trying to salvage 14 because it came out and it's. I mean, I've played MMOs for years, and this is the biggest disaster I've seen in that space. Like it came out and just everyone was immediately like, "This is not a finished game. There's not enough here."
There's 38 studios a couple weeks ago.
That's true. But I didn't actually. I mean, I didn't actually play that game, so I can't comment on that.
And a lot of people have said that Final Fantasy 13 too is like a multi-million-dollar apology for Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, when you're releasing a game and you say that you had too many art assets, like enough to make another game, then that's a bit of a bad sign that you're not really spending your resources very well. So.
Yeah. Also a bad sign that you're not spending your resources well when your whole company implodes and you end up owing the state of Rhode Island multi-millions of dollars. That's probably not good. You may have noticed we're surrounding you at this point. This is all part of the plan. Again, so what are you working on, John? We have more people.
I'm working on
we
my
can
water.
Keep adding them.
I'm working on my water.
You're going to tell us what you're working on, right? That's what we're here for?
Yeah.
Exciting.
We need the pipe. Tracy here, and I'm really excited that we get a chance to put her in front of a camera because she almost died.
We were really worried. We were very worried.
Tracy flew in. What is your time? What do you do here anyway?
You mean like for Polygon or generally?
Yeah. Tracy works for Polygon, but
Okay.
What are you doing in this room?
What is your purpose?
Yeah.
Why are you
Let's
here?
get real existential for a second.
What is your prime directive? Tell us.
So I'm the senior reporter of Polygon in Australia. So I'm the Australian correspondent, and I flew in from Sydney. And I think probably on the plane, I'm not contagious anymore, so don't freak out.
You gotta love a story that starts with
I'm not contagious
anymore.
Right. At one point I was.
But you're
It's
not.
my favorite pickup line.
Patient zero, right here.
How does that work for you?
I contracted strep throat, so I was fairly ill. And on Monday.
Not the good kind of ill, because.
Is there a good kind of ill?
Here in the U.S., sometimes we say ill. Here in the U.S. in the 80s, sometimes we say ill.
I still say that. Yeah, you know, and again, I'm not a fan. But some would say Final Fantasy is sick, right? It's sick.
Yeah, but you wouldn't say it's ill.
Depends on which one. They're all sick in their own way. How about that?
Whatever you can tell us about it later, is sick.
It is really sick.
Yeah. But not as sick as Tracy, and let's pick that thread back up.
Hopefully less sick than before.
So Dave was kind enough to take me to the ER to get my shot of penicillin, and then.
So let's back up for a second. Actually, you're here in the States for
E3.
E3, and for maybe 12 hours after you land, you realize you're too ill to carry on and have to be taken to the emergency room.
Yeah.
Right. That's hardcore.
It's pretty shit.
And you're actually sitting there. That was a day ago. That was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened?
I think the most terrifying thing for me was like in Australia you hear a lot about the American medical system and how broken it is. Like all you know is that unless you have health insurance, then you're basically screwed. And even if you do have health insurance, you're probably screwed as well.
Right.
That's what we understand.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah, I hear that,
accurate.
and I'm not in Australia.
Yeah, so as an Australian citizen, I don't have American health insurance. So I was like, oh my god, this is going to cost me a lot. I have travel insurance, but still, it was kind of terrifying.
You're lucky they didn't just put you down right away.
Yeah, they'd be like, we have insurance. We'll just
that
give her a shot.
Sorry.
To sleep.
It's like we can help, but there's only one thing we can do.
Yeah, and so I just spent the next few days in bed not being at E3.
Right.
Actually, yesterday I tried to go to E3. I got to see Worms
You lasted for a while, a little while.
I lasted one session, but the lights and the BO and
noise,
the noise
yeah.
and everything just knocked me out.
Whoa, BO at E3?
No.
It's better than PAX.
It's a little bit better than PAX. Probably better than Comic-Con, I think, too.
Much better than Comic-Con.
Yeah. You saw Worms, Team 17. Those guys are always good for a laugh.
I just can't believe they've been making worms for so long. Like Emily told me that, all they make is worms. And I said, surely not. And I looked them up. It's like, since 1995, the only game they've made has
They haven't
been
done
worms.
anything else?
Just variants on
How many games is it total at this point?
19.
Jeez.
19 versions of Worms.
Yeah, so they've got
Beat
the 3D.
that, Civ 5. You got 14 more.
They can keep the crown. That's fine.
So you're making a Worms. That's right. That's what you're doing, right? You're making a strategy Worms.
I'll tell you more about it later.
All right. It's progress. It's progress.
Oh.
So
Stephanie's gonna kill me.
I got Brad on the phone here, actually. So what's the new Worms all about? Quickly, what can you tell us about the 19th iteration of
Well,
Worms?
What's new? It's in 2.5D, but with 2D gameplay. It looks like Worms. The developer told me it's like a breath of fresh air. I'm not sure for who.
I guess when you get up to number 19, it's kind of like
you need that breath of fresh
I
air.
mean, like they introduced some new elements. Like there's dynamic water, so you can't just dig yourself into a hole and hide because the opponent can now flush you out. And there are different types of worms. So not all worms are made equal. There's a heavy worm. It's kind of plump and chubby. Scout worm, tiny.
that would be a great tagline for that game. Not all worms are made equal.
Yeah. There's the scientist worm. He's got a degree. And then there's like the soldier worm, who is like your standard, garden earthworm, I guess.
I just like to imagine the scientist worm going through worm grad school.
It's got the mortarboard.
Yeah.
Tries
Defending
to
his worm thesis.
Yes.
Yeah. If you cut my tail off, I can regrow. That's a lizard, actually. But worms regrow themselves, don't they?
I think so. I don't know.
Is it like...
Worms are weird.
I was told that if you cut them in half, they just
That's
kind
a
of
takeaway.
Yeah.
Two of them spawn.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think we're on something here.
Is it
Two
true?
conversations.
If you cut a worm in half, then you get
each
two
half,
worms.
you get two worms.
That's frightening.
That's
Isn't it?
terrifying.
You would think they would know that. That has to be...
We should have evolved that as humans, I feel like.
That would be awesome and terrifying.
Yeah.
It'd be great if you cut your finger off and then that little finger turns into a miniature version of you. Psychotic.
See, she almost died, so this is how we get into the morbid stuff. She's faced that terror, and they want us to talk about games. Okay, so we can talk about games. If you want, I mean...
It's weird that the Heavy Talk About Games sign just hanging out. That says a lot
they
about
had
us.
that
It's
ready. That was manufactured just for us.
Let me tell you about a game.
You know what I just realized? I actually don't have a laptop with me with which to get questions from the people watching this stream. If there's anybody who can help me out with that, I'll be your best friend.
Somebody get Russ a laptop, and in the meantime, I want to tell you about a game that I saw that I'm really excited about. I just put up a preview for it. It's my favorite game that I saw of the show, and nobody else is ever going to talk about it.
Okay.
Way of the Samurai 4. It's this weird little game that Xseed is doing. Xseed's a small publisher that does mostly Japanese games.
Thank you. That's my boss.
Yeah, here we go. And so it is the strangest game. It's an open world feudal Japan simulator, basically. And it takes place at this point in time in Japan where they've opened up their borders for trade with the West. And a bunch of British immigrants have come over and formed a little Britain in this town. So you play the samurai who gets to walk around, and you get to decide which group you want to ally with. Whether you want to ally with the immigrants or whether you want to ally with this group that is kind of like racist and wants to kick the British people out, or whether you want to ally with the government who's just trying to keep the peace. And you can just do anything.
So it's like an RPG.
It's not an RPG. It's an action game technically, but it's a lot of running around and talking to people, and then you can kind of what you decide helps shape how the story progresses. There's up to I think 10 different endings depending on what you decide. You can just go crazy and start killing characters.
Points. Somebody's gonna have to tell me at some point what that points joke is.
We'll tell you after you get off the air.
I've been told that we're back, and it's like movie magic because.
Wait, which camera?
I don't know which camera we're on, or this one, I think.
All right, you look at that camera. I'll look at this camera.
I'll look at a different camera.
And just in case one of us is going to be like really cool.
I've traded in my John Schaefer for a Ross Miller from The Verge. And Tracy actually did die, and we've replaced her with Matt Leone. No, Tracy didn't die. Tracy didn't die. I'm sorry. She's not actually dead. She's very much alive. But we have Matt on, and we have Ross on to finish out the block. We only got a few minutes before we're going to have to cut away.
Wait. I just got here.
I know he's
in a few minutes, you're cutting us off.
It's not me, it's you. At 9 o'clock, coming up at 9 o'clock, let me tell you what's going to go on at 9 before we dig into what
By
we're
the
going
time
to
he
do here.
finishes telling us what's going to happen at 9 o'clock, it's going to be 9
o'clock.
o'clock.
At 9 o'clock, we're going to have...
Steak time.
We're going to have Editor-in-Chief of Polygon, Chris Grant. We're going to have News Editor, Brian Crescente. We're going to have Reviews Editor, Arthur Geese. And host for that session, Chris Plant. We're going to be talking about the best games of E3, the official Polygon best games of E3, or as near to it as they're willing to go. You're going to want to watch that. Before you watch that, and before we really get into it, there's something we've been teasing.
We are seriously not going to get talked before 9 o'clock.
I'm okay with that.
We're getting
since we
kicked
started
out.
talking about the stream today, and I'm just tuning them out. Save it for later. I'm hearing to save it for later. Okay, we're going to save it for later.
I believe it. I saw his eyes.
You know, Harvey Danger did a great cover of Save It For Later.
We got
for the 200 Cigarette soundtrack. It was really good.
We got Adam Sessler coming
interesting.
up, and you know what? We're gonna save that for later. So we get a thing. You may have heard of him, Adam Sessler, friend of mine from way back.
Humble brag.
Humble brag. It's okay to name drop if he's actually here.
I'm gonna get every one-liner I can right now because you're about to kick us off. We've been here 2 minutes, so I'm just gonna troll you every other line.
We're gonna hear from Adam later on.
If you're lucky.
In the meantime, what's up with you guys? What have you been doing at E3? Let's start with Matt. Matt.
Wow.
What did you do today?
Today,
What did you do
I
today?
picked up all the leftover crap. I stopped by NBA Ballers Beats for about 2 minutes.
Oh, tell me about that one because we walked by that.
It's fascinating.
And I'm thinking, my first thought is basketball in the living room. How
Not,
does that
not
work?
only basketball in the living room, it comes with an actual ball.
What?
For $60, you get a game and a ball.
With $60?
Yeah.
I got fucking...
Well, you see, normal Connect is like 50, so you pay 10 for the ball.
But you can just go
What?
buy a ball for $10.
Of course, you can use any ball.
Buy a basketball for-
But if you already have a ball, you don't need to. So is there a $50
I don't
version that
think
comes
you can
without
buy
the
the
ball?
disc, but I don't know.
Okay.
So it's a Kinect game, obviously, but it senses when the ball hits the ground. So it's like frequency with like all the notes coming down, or Rock Band, or anything like that.
Right.
And then every time the ball, the little dot hits the bottom of the line, your dribbled ball is supposed to hit the ground. So you have to like time your dribbles to the songs that are playing.
So wait, it is...
So like party rockin' in the house. It's
Did you
horrible.
It's Rock Band for dribbling.
Yes. It's Rock Band, but instead of a guitar, you use a basketball.
Is there any
on the
other
ground.
point to this game other than dribbling for $60?
It's kind of a workout. I played one song, and you have to like do it fast enough, and then like you have to switch from your right hand to your left hand, then you have to like pump fake. It's
Matt,
ridiculous.
you live in San Francisco, right?
I do.
All right, stay with me here. There are
I can't
public.
even walk
no,
without my neighbors
stay
getting
with me
angry
here.
at me.
Stay with me here. You live in a place where there are basketball courts
There are
every half
basketball
mile
courts.
or so.
That's not true, but
Asphalt.
okay.
Sure, whatever. Just play with me.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
I think I see where you're going with this.
$10 gets you basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You can dribble in your house.
Not really, but yeah.
You can dribble anywhere. You can dribble on the road.
Sure.
You can dribble against the guy who has medical marijuana license,
Well, yeah.
and he's using it more than anyone
Where
else
do you think I bought
has.
the ball?
You got the ball from the marijuana dealer?
Yeah.
You really need a weed. Point is, that's $10.
Mm-hmm.
$10 on medical marijuana.
Ice Canyon water
dispensary
is my
human
favorite
being.
water. Yes. You're not getting to the point. You're being him now.
Yeah, I think so. It's $10 for a ball.
And
Do
a
you get to
disc.
shoot?
$60
Now-
for
now,
the
do you-
disc
this
on
is,
ball.
This is where I get stuck on this game.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying $60, and the ball is packaged in. Okay, fine. So it's essentially maybe a free
It's
ball.
like, it was
Is
like,
the
think
ball-
about like Mario Kart Wii. You know, you buy a piece of
No.
plastic.
Is the ball inflated?
I don't know. That's a good
I
question.
think you would have to. Then now
If
that's,
not, then they'd have to pay it for a pump, and then that's just more money.
now
You
I'm
need to buy
just
a
really
pump
curious how
separately.
this packaging works. But I'm thinking, I'll give you $12. and sends you to the Toys R Us to get a ball and kick your ass outside so you can play some ball. And then he might actually be able to shoot.
And Vitamin D is an Xbox achievement. Trust me.
Well, it's interesting because they had a little stage set up. So when you dribbled, it doesn't feel exactly like normal dribbling. So it kind of like threw me off a little too. Like it was hard enough kind of timing with the game, which is surprisingly difficult, even on easy. But then you mix in this little stage with the ball that like bounces at a different angle. And what is happening? Everyone's looking over here.
Okay. Yeah, Bill wants to do something. Bill's standing in the wings. He wants to come in. He wants to do something.
Billy, the second syllable is very important.
We just got a flow, Bill. We just came back. We just got in the flow, and you're going to mess it up. Carpet.
He's been really wanting a lap dance all night.
I was wondering what was happening.
I have no idea.
So, Matt, can you imagine dribbling on the carpet? This is the big question, because I would say a lot of people, particularly people who aren't, really going to go outside and play basketball.
If you have a concrete floor beneath that carpet, maybe.
Yeah.
I have a wooden floor at home. If I dribble the ball once, I'll get like a note on my door from my neighbor, like, you got to keep it quiet.
You got to
do that anyway. Yeah, I know.
A certain degree of fun, but not entirely practical. Is that how we
I
classify it?
Guess more of a workout than I expected, and less of a basketball exercise.
How many hours have we talked about Last of Us tonight?
Not enough.
Because it's really awesome.
What do you want now? Tell me about Last of Us.
Okay, so thing I can only talk about, and I only have 3 minutes to talk about until you kick me off. Last of Us.
Before.
Last of Us and Beyond Two Souls. We had the Sony appointments. Last of Us. Really intense. Really great presentation. Did you see it?
I did.
Did you see it?
I saw that press conference version.
That's good enough.
I saw it remotely.
Yeah.
I saw it in the stream like this.
It's really good.
Yeah.
That's what you got to say.
That's all I got to say.
What I've heard about that game is that it introduces a sort of visceral, emotional level to the violence, intentionally, of course. But that makes it. I realized this playing Max Payne. I was playing Max Payne and having a great time. But I realized at a certain point how outlandish this was as a immersive, realistic experience. Because I just killed so many dudes. There were so many dead dudes.
Welcome to video games.
Kill that many dudes. It's not possible to kill that many dudes.
In Max Payne 3, you kill him by shooting him in the head, and it doesn't really matter. They're a bad guy, whatever.
Whatever.
In The Last of Us, you take a brick and you hit them in the head, and it bludgeons them, and it hurts, and you feel the visceral, because the sound, the audio, the visuals, they really highlight the fact that you killed the guy with the brick. First shot, I think Plant said this earlier, first shot, he's dead. You do it 3 more times.
Just because.
And there's blood splatter. The blood splatters around the glass, and you shoot them in the head. It's very visceral. Every kill actually gives you a much stronger feeling than I've seen in another game. This is Uncharted 4 as directed by Quentin Tarantino. That's how I felt. And I kept saying it to myself every scene that we saw in Last of Us, and it's true.
Yeah.
It's very over the top. Every piece of violence, every scene of violence makes sense within a world that is hyper-violent. But it still makes sense. It's within like 1 degree away from reality. And the fact that it is so detailed and graphic and destructive really actually affected me. That affected me more than many other violent games. Medal of Honor, you shoot guy, soldier, whatever, it doesn't matter. Last of Us, I actually felt something when he was bludgeoning a guy over and over again. I felt like, why? How painful and how detailed.
How do they pace that over a full game then? Because you can do it once easy where you have like, you build up the tension and then it pays off, but how does that add up to 10 hours?
Honestly, it's an emotional incentivization system where it's like, when I'm watching that, like when I was thinking, when I'm playing this myself, I don't want to kill somebody. Like, they've made the guy, the main character, the backstory is that he is someone who's capable of great violence, but even when I'm watching him, like, I do not want to hurt someone that bad, but if they come after me, I will do it. And that's like almost like a post-apocalyptic mindset that I don't want to hurt you.
But I still
but if
worry
you come
that
after
I'm going to
me,
get
I will
numb
shoot
to
you
it
in the head.
like the 4th or 5th time it happens.
Maybe, but like, is that the point though?
That's my question for
you're
you.
Like,
what else is there? What's beyond that?
You are in a post-apocalyptic world. You have seen the plague happen. There's zombies, but they will not talk about it until launch, apparently.
Right. We'll talk about it. Now, I've heard snippets about the zombies, but what I'm curious about is there is the possibility that you may become desensitized as brutal as the violence and the killing is. You may become desensitized, and that honestly, I think that may be part of the hero's journey, right, in the game.
Right.
I just said hero's journey. I'm so sorry. Please shoot me. What I meant was there's a narrative to that game. And one would have to imagine that the characters living in that scenario would become in some way accustomed to what they're doing, would have to grow and change. Maybe that's part of it. But as a player, do you think it's possible to create a game that connects you so emotionally to the act of physical violence that you don't want to play it, right? Like, is this a game that you may not actually want to play because it is so
I know
charged?
that's true of games much less violent than this for many people. Like people look at God of War, or any real like current any AAA game basically, and they're just like, yeah, it just doesn't interest me.
Right. I think that's a good example. If God of War is Kill Bill, I'm going to use the Quentin Tarantino thing until I get kicked off. If God of War is Kill Bill, Last of Us was Reservoir Dogs. Every bullet counted.
Wow.
And like, whereas like, yeah, we've seen more neck stabs than I can count. In fact, Paul Miller for The Verge is here actually counting the neck stabs for a feature. Is why I keep mentioning it.
I saw a video on that actually.
It's really good. Whereas Uncharted is an Indiana Jones romp where you get shot, whatever. It's a guy you don't really care about. The fact that people aren't shot, and when they're shot, it's a loud, impactful bang that actually causes physical damage to the face or wherever you hit them. Most of the kills that we saw were bludgeons, like actually a blunt object to some part of the body, most likely the head, in a way that actually caused deformity and caused blood and caused it to spread everywhere in a way that was more close to reality as I imagine it, more impactful, more upsetting even. Whereas when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, yeah, I could kill 1,000 people in Call of Duty. I don't care. If I kill one person in Last of Us, I feel it. I'm upset about it.
Right.
But I had to do it. So if desensitization is the assumption of most games, it is part of the journey for Last of Us. If this is what happens,
journey?
thank you, the hero's journey from this is really painful and I feel weird about it to this has to become common nature to survive in this game world. And that to me was a much more fascinating dynamic.
Right. That to me is a level of immersion that sort of goes beyond traditional games where you really can see yourself in that situation because your emotions are tied in.
Right.
And then people have been saying, game developers have been trying to get us emotionally invested in games for a long time, and some more successful than others. The famous, is this going to be the game that's going to make you cry? Maybe. I'm not really that worried about games that are going to make me cry. I'm worried about games like this that are going to make me really think about the things that we do in video games and how it would feel to be doing that in real life. For example, my Max Payne example, for example. I love that game, but the dude killed like 3,000 dudes. I mean, that's just not, I don't know.
But to your point,
that's a lot of dudes.
Playing Max Payne 3 makes you want to drink whiskey like Max Payne.
It does, and take pills.
Rolled over in a hotel room like, dear God, my wife and child got murdered, and I've been through E3 for 3 days.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink a bottle of Jack.
Well, now that's exactly what I'm feeling. And those guys back there are finally starting to whoop it up.
They're beating me to it.
And I think we're going to go join them. It's about time for us to transition to our next block. Mr. Chris Plant is going to be leading the discussion of the best games of E3. The editor-in-chief, Christopher Grant, news editor, Brian Crescente, reviews editor, Arthur Geets. Basically, the when I'm out of the room, the brains behind the operation.
Only when you're out of the room.
But really only when I'm out of the room. They're going to really dig into it. And honestly, the only reason I wasn't going to join them for this is because I haven't seen any games. I've been walking behind the camera dudes with a calendar for 3 days.
You've watched people watch games. You've controlled people who are controlling games.
Control's a strong word.
You are the puppet master of every video on that side.
I like puppet master, so we'll go with that. Control's a strong word, but puppet master is just the right.
You are the gun stringer. You are doing the wand waving. You are locking on targets. You are shooting
Conductor.
them.
Let's go with conductor. Anyway, I didn't get to see a lot of games, but they did, and they're going to tell you all about those games that they saw. As we transition to that, however, and I'm not waiting any longer for this, Chris Plant, you can eat it. We're going to roll out something we've been saving. I ran into my good friend Adam Sessler on the show floor today, and he was kind enough to stand in front of our cameras and tell us a little bit about what he thinks about this year's E3 and what has come out of it. Adam has this thing that he does, that he has done. He doesn't have a job right now, but when he did have a job, there was a thing that he did.
Wow.
And this is one of those things. If you could say that it was one of those things, it's very close to one of those things. Like how I'm dancing around this copywritten.
Angry, perhaps.
It's a thing that Adam does.
Does it rhyme with ant?
Perhaps.
Does it rhyme with hope locks?
Yeah.
It rhymes with awesome, and we have it, and we're going to roll it right now. And when we come back, more from Polygon Live from the Loft.
Man, your voice.
Well, hello there. It's me, Adam Sessler, your favorite nomadic game journalist. I'm just wandering the desert,
looking for a promised land. Well, here I am at E3. As per usual, I have so many thoughts in my head, I decided to impose myself on Polygon to share many of them. All right. A, there seems to be this sense that Microsoft's press conference was really bad. I don't share that. It was actually far more entertaining and exciting than I would say the ones from the past 2 years, really ever since Kinect became very primary. This year, it wasn't that family focused. This year, they didn't spend tons of time on other media, but most importantly was the Smart Glass announcement. A lot of people are kind of going, big whoop. But look at the bigger picture of what they did. Microsoft, of all companies, not just Xbox, decided to survey the landscape and address the reality of the situation that there already are enough tablet-like devices out there that it's not worth their while to introduce their own hardware to use with the Xbox 360. If this was 4 years ago, trust me, there would have been a Zune tablet. That was the only way you could interact in that manner with the Xbox 360. That is a massive change in Microsoft's thinking. It shows a remarkable maturity, and I think it bodes very well for what their strategy is going into the next generation. So that's where I am on Microsoft and the fact that, yeah, that was a pretty good press conference. Now let's talk about the one I've been very vocal about. That was Nintendo. I finally had a chance to play the Wii U. You know, it's fun. I like the feeling of the tablet, and even a game like Nintendo Land that I don't think conveyed very much at their press conference, you can see it's very much like Wii Sports, as games that were probably prototyped to figure out what they wanted to do with the new system are now kind of collected into a minigame collection. They don't seem to have the depth or maybe the same kind of time-wasting appeal that we got out of Wii Sports, but it does seem positioned to do that, and it's probably the best evidence of what they can do with this technology. And I would say the other game that shows that is Zombie U. I cannot stand the name of it, but I'm going to go ahead and live with it. It's a very, very short demo, and it just shows you where they can go with that kind of technology. Now, having said that it's a fine console, it makes what happened at their press conference all the more mystifying. I really honestly think that that might be the worst press conference I have ever seen, and it's doubly sad because this was the best opportunity that Nintendo had to make a case about this new technology to the consumer. They were very oblique and lost in their magical thinking last year, and you know, they could have been clear. They started it seeming so clear, and while they were very clear in their language, they didn't say anything. Why did we spend 10 minutes talking about Batman Arkham City, which came out last year? Why did they show a Mario game that really only minimally exploited what's available on the Wii U tablet? And moreover, why was it the most conservative looking Mario game? And then to underscore that, they show a 3DS Mario game that's also a side-scroller. There's no sense of wow or pop, perhaps Pikmin, but I was so confused during that demo that I couldn't tell if I was excited or not. Now, as that whole thing went on, it became stranger and stranger to the sense that all the air was coming out of the balloon, finishing off with fireworks in Nintendo Land. There was supposed to be a reveal. I'm convinced that there had to have been a big reveal that somehow got pulled, and there was the most flaccid ending to what should have been the most exciting press conference of this E3. Now, my last point are 3 words I never expected to say, and that is Ubisoft had the best press conference. Yes, the people that gave us Mr. Caffeine, a very strange, sonorous James Cameron, and, you know, light guns that are so exciting, actually pulled off the biggest surprise of this E3, and that was, of course, the reveal of Watch Dogs, a new game no one knew a thing about, and which clearly looks like it's going to be designed for the next generation. Where I think Ubisoft is truly brilliant is they have not said what system or what generation this game is for. And people like me and others in the game press can sort of intuit that what's going on that screen probably can't happen on this generation's technology. What they have now accomplished is mindshare for a generation that doesn't exist yet, and a signature game that will, at least in many gamers' minds, define what's coming around the corner. And as someone who's now seen that game twice, I have to say, I'm pretty damn excited. Bring it on.
And we're back. Oh, hello everybody. Welcome back to Live at the Loft with Chris Plant and this big piece of food that is more than I can hold in my belly. I believe it's bread pudding, and it is delicious.
Oh, is that what that is?
I've actually just thought about eating it instead of doing the show, but I guess I have to introduce you after I have one more bite. Okay, so we're here with my boss, Chris Grant. We're here with another bald man named Arthur Goose. And we're here with my friend
That's
Brian
so
and
creative.
Shinte.
Man.
I got it from the commenters. They're the one who told me.
Your name's Goose.
And they're fans. They've been screaming. They've been saying, "Bring out the goose." It's like
Goose
you're a
man.
hockey player. Bring out the goose. So we're going to be talking about the best game of the show.
You won't be laughing when I burp you again later.
Fact. Arthur
Yes.
actually burped me last night.
And a burp
He patted
came
me on the back for about 15 seconds, and then I burped like a baby. And it felt good. Other fact, you're talking about game of the show tonight. One of the things that we mentioned in the Besties a little bit earlier was Last of Us. I think that's a great starting point. Probably gonna end up being a pretty great ending point too.
No.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna throw it to the boss man, to the king over here. You loved it. You wrote this glowing review about it. I have my criticisms.
Well, it wasn't a review.
So you tell me your review.
10 out of 10, though.
That's what it felt like.
Quick question, did you also love Uncharted 3?
I wouldn't say I loved it. I loved Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
Okay,
great. Arthur's checking your
We're not,
credentials.
yeah. Just
Before
wants to
you-
make sure that
that's
you're not a
totally
loon.
I liked Uncharted 3.
So tell us why it's so fantastic, and then I'll dismantle your argument.
Okay. Here's reason number
yeah,
one.
a little bit. Sure.
So what I wrote, so it was my most anticipated game of E3.
Oh, so you came in with bias.
I came in with bias. My friend Tobias. And then I saw, and what I wrote in the preview I wrote today was that, do you guys remember that Uncharted commercial that they had where...
Be more specific.
Are you talking about the Kevin Butler It's a Movie commercial?
It's a movie commercial.
It's a movie commercial, yeah.
Where the guy was playing the game
And the girlfriend?
his girlfriend thought that she was watching a movie.
Yeah. Girlfriends don't know games.
They don't understand games. Girls. So, silly commercial. Silly commercial notwithstanding, the whole point of it was that that it was very cinematic and it looked like a movie. I think implied in that commercial was that also that it wasn't embarrassing. There are a lot of games when you play games like every time. I don't know about you guys. I every time I demo a game or play a game, I always think like, am I embarrassed to play this? Is this like goofy? Is this silly? Is it puerile? Do I feel infantilized by like enjoying it?
Don't.
Yeah, well, let him finish
don't-
because
don't
don't worry.
interrupt that thought.
We're probably all thinking the exact same
Okay.
thing.
Just
so you finish your thing. I'm really surprised that this is the angle of all the angles that you're coming at it with.
I'm just saying. I think it seems to me to be a more mature take on storytelling in games, which is something that I would not be embarrassed to.
I did see a very mature take to someone's face during that gameplay demo.
It's violent.
To be fair, I would say, and this is usually, I really hate to say this, but it's what I usually say for most Naughty Dog games. Compared to the rest of video games, yeah, it's pretty mature.
It's got some
compared
nuance
to
to
like what I would watch like in a movie with my wife. No, it's just ultra violence.
Hold on. But wait,
ultra violent.
There are plenty of crappy movies out there that are ultra violent.
Yeah, and I don't watch them with people that I would be embarrassed to watch them with.
To support Chris a little bit, I don't think ultraviolence has to be puerile.
No.
Are you guys really going with ultraviolence? Really?
I'm not. I don't think that necessarily disqualifies it from being something more substantive than most
I would look at
games.
something like Walking Dead. Walking Dead is super ultra violent, and it's about zombies, and my girlfriend watches it and likes it. Like, you can make sophisticated, mature genre fiction that can be violent. It just can't be, I don't know, like
exploitative.
I guess
it's not. It's puerile, for love of God.
Puerile. I guess
Poirot is a detective. Puerile.
Poirot is child in Latin. Poirot is boy.
I think the problem that
That's
I
a
would
Latin
bring to this demo.
He just smacked you down with Latin.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
The problem that I would bring to this demo is I think you're right. I think that it could be what you're talking about, but we didn't see any of that story.
Sure.
Absolutely, we saw some of that.
In the demo, we saw a little bit where they talk about how they saw a movie back in the day,
But
and
if
then
you
he
watch-
killed 5 people.
If you watch the trailer,
brutally.
If you watch the trailer,
That's it.
if like that's all you saw, what about the trailer makes you think that it's going to go beyond being just violent or ultra violent?
My guess is that, well, I mean, there's a lot of things, right? There's small bits of conversation. So the trailer does not have, in the trailer, it's not even a trailer, it's a gameplay demo from the PlayStation conference, but you see him walk up to the poster and doesn't interact with it. And
Yeah.
in our version, he interacts with it, and then
Which is neat.
She asks him a question, and then he says, blah, 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 and they keep going. I think there's going to be elements like that where you're allowed to have engagement. But there's also a connection you have there. There's the part where the guy jumps on him and she jumps on his back and stabs him. Like, there's a connection that you have with a non-playable character that's really interesting, and I'm going to assume, I'm going to make an assumption,
at Naughty Dog, who I think are some of the best storytellers in the industry, are going to take the opportunity to tell a story between these two characters.
Let
As
me
opposed to
ask
just have
you.
them shoot
I agree.
Let me ask you guys something. So after Uncharted 2, I would say that Naughty Dog sort of developed a cache of benefit of the doubt that there will be quiet moments of story development, of real genuine character development, of real genuine emotion. And going from that to this, I would say that we could walk in with that benefit of the doubt. The question is, after Uncharted 3...
Uncharted 3 had those moments.
Uncharted 3 really struggled with those moments, though.
It had them, and I think some of them were great.
Playing as young Drake, it struggled a lot.
Young Drake was great.
Young Drake was a very small part of that game, and the rest of it was Drake as an asshole.
Because he was snapping necks?
No, not even that. I mean, that's always been a big disconnect in the Uncharted games.
Right.
And hopefully that's
Is Young
something...
Drake a spoiler?
That's something that, well, you know, it was November and now it's June. And The Last of Us seems to be contextualizing that violence a lot more, to be fair, than Uncharted ever did.
Right. I mean, it
and
makes
that's
sense.
a step in the right direction. It's like, okay, violence is awful. You're not going to kill a ton of people compared to this other thing, and we're going to try to make you feel it.
Yeah, one really quick thing that I just want to get to, and that's in the comments because I'm seeing it go flash through here really quick.
Sure.
People are a little bit confused by the phrase "I'm embarrassed to play this," and it's not. I don't know if you're. It depends on if you're living with someone who doesn't play games.
My Christian upbringing.
But do you mean
but
literally?
when I say I'm not embarrassed just to play the game on my own or even play with someone who plays games. But there is a context that we as people who play games get used to killing hundreds of things a moment that someone who doesn't play games, you can't just expect them to see you literally blowing someone's face off every other minute and for them to feel okay with it. They don't have anything else in their day-to-day life where that feels normal.
Idiotic most games are.
So that's what I'm embarrassed by. It's not the violence, it's the idiocy.
You're talking about like a Saints Row type of thing.
Or Bayonetta,
you know what?
right?
Saints Row is so idiotic that it's transcendent in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I don't see it as embarrassing as much as it's not interesting enough. My wife who doesn't play... it's not compelling. My wife who doesn't play video games at all, one of the only times she's ever sat down and watched me play a game in our lives together, which is more than a decade, was the original Uncharted. She sat down and actually watched me play the game because she was. She
but
enjoyed
that's
it.
the thing. Like, I think Naughty Dog is really good at it. I think they're really good at making experiences that are narratively sophisticated in a way that Okay, Uncharted 2 succeeded as something that was narratively sophisticated. Uncharted 1 succeeded as a great example of characterization, and Uncharted 3 really stumbled on all of that. Sure. So what I'm saying is that in terms of a game that has a lot of promise, which is the only thing that we can judge right now, right? We can evaluate things based on how much opportunity they have to succeed. I think the decks are stacked on Last of Us to be successful. I think that there's the biggest problems I had with Uncharted 2, 1, 2, and 3. A lot of it was the heavily scripted and very linear action, which they are addressing head on in this game.
Not particularly well executed mechanics. In a lot of respects.
Uncharted 1 especially, where 2 was better, 3 was better, but
it's always been better when it's about traversal, and I wonder if that's something that The Last of Us will continue.
Do you think that this is a realization of, in some way, the Dead Island trailer that everybody saw? Because that's what I think of when I see this. On some level, that's what I think.
What it is it's the I Am Alive original pitch trailer in a lot of ways, almost to bizarre degrees. Were there actual gameplay moments in that? I mean, that trailer was a cinematic trailer, but it was showing off what the gameplay would look like. And in that first demo they showed, where he's picking up the bottles and throwing it as distractions, and people are scavenging and using what they need against them. It was like, wow, this is a game that people were seeking. They wanted to make 6 years ago. And here's a studio that has the money and the confidence and the talent to actually make it. So if you go back and watch that trailer and you're excited, that's the thing is I pick on these games, on their games because they are the best. And you kind of like, the ones you love, you're always going to be a little harder on.
There's also a huge expectation, right?
There's a huge
I think for me,
expectation.
my skepticism comes in at that comment, which is that they've always been really good at storytelling and setting a scene and establishing character, but the game part is the part where they struggle the most.
And I would say this about the game part in this. So the game director who is, I forget, Bruce.
You don't need to name drop here.
Either way, I'm just trying to cite. It's citation.
Sure. You don't need to give anybody a ticket either.
I'm trying to. I won't even. Nope.
Check with the judges, guys. No.
No.
I approve that joke.
All right, the judge gave you 1 point.
It's plural.
But Naughty Dog looks like it's challenging itself to really change what's expected of it in terms of gameplay.
Sure.
They said
With broccoli-headed zombies.
Right. They said we're moving. I didn't even see any broccoli-headed zombies in
No,
either of
and
these demos.
that's actually the more interesting thing is that the enemies are human, and I like.
They've got.
Well, they're human for now. We don't know where the game's going.
There's mushroom zombies that they're not showing, right?
I would
Because they
almost
wanna-
appreciate it if that wasn't even there.
It would be so. I would really appreciate it. I would really appreciate if they didn't turn into Blue Navi at the end of the game. I don't need that again.
We don't need abominable snow. We don't need Scooby-Doo villains.
Or what is it, Hell Rider or whatever?
Yeah. Oh God.
You don't need any more of that.
I think that this sort of moral ambiguity that we feel watching that trailer or watching that presentation without context could be really interesting, but there was a real focus on the violence, and it didn't feel like it went enough in the direction of disturbing. It was a little bit more, oh shit, hell yeah, kind of violence. And I
don't know if I got
and
that.
that's
I
a
got
really,
a sense of like.
I got it because I heard the people screaming in the auditorium when it
and
played.
that's a really difficult.
I think I watched it alone here. Like.
See, everybody when they blew up the head, it was like. It was the Roman Coliseum. It was like, yes, give me more.
That's a really difficult line to walk between exploitation and making.
Well, especially when you cut to a hard black and title, and it's like, well, that's everything that they did back in the 1960s.
Like, thanks to the Inception moment, guys. I don't know that we really needed it right there.
I get a real McCarthy vibe from it, and if you read something like The Road or No Country for Old Men, they're extremely violent, right? Right. They're very
sure,
graphic.
but they kill in The Road. How many people does he kill? Fewer than they killed in that scene.
But you can't have a video game where you kill two
Can
people.
you? Why is that?
almost go so
Not
far
an
as
action
saying
game.
that
I
some
think
of the
it
stuff
would be-
that we've seen in Tomb Raider, like the stuff that people were really uncomfortable with, like the almost rape
The almost
scene,
rape stuff.
like that comes closer to establishing a sense of uneasiness about violence than what we've seen in Last of Us so far.
Some people, what a few commenters are talking about is that Uncharted 2, or the Uncharted series, almost more than any other games, really pull their cues from movies. And that is kind of, it's a difficult line because games are not movies. And what you're talking about is, what? Games are not movies. They're not movies.
But the start button on a PlayStation controller looks like play.
Can you look that up on Wikipedia
Okay,
to
but
double
the
check?
point is that you were saying is we were talking about The Road and how many people did they kill in it, and you say, well, it's an action game,
Right.
And that's the problem. When you look at a movie, right? There's a drama, which is what Last of Us wants to be about 50% of the time,
Right.
and there's an action movie, what it wants to be the other 50% of the time, and there's a huge dissonance between those two. And
Sure.
they wanted to lower that from what they did with Uncharted.
And I think
but
they
it's
can do
actually to
that.
me a bit more jarring though, because what happened, what bothered me when I saw the demo was you have these very nice personal moments of them kind of solving kind of puzzles that you didn't see in the E3 demo that was shown to everybody. And then after that, when they walk into a hotel room, the guys basically are like, "Oh no, run!" And he just starts. Just brutal, murdering people in the ugliest ways imaginable.
And you don't get any context for how he got that way.
Exactly, and I'm sure
But you also don't get context for what happens if he doesn't kill them.
Right. Sure,
But
but I mean,
do you-
like the onus is on one end before it's on the other.
Yeah,
'cause he
they
killed them.
they go on the defensive immediately, and then he kills them.
Maybe it would be more satisfying if there was some reaction after he killed all those. I think that's the issue. It's
Well,
not that he's killing a bunch of people; it's that he kills all those people.
We
like
do
in
get
Uncharted.
we do get it from the girl though. I will give
You
it
do
that.
get
When
that.
in the demo that I saw, he just totally spews the brains over the floor to someone, and we get to see the girl come out and look at it and just be absolutely horrified.
But like,
They also
the
found
problem
a corpse in the tub.
Yeah, but the reaction there was like,
Wait a
yeah, it
second,
was
wait.
like, well, that's a bad way to
Wait,
go.
We got to stop everything. We got to stop everything.
Yes, the bread pudding is. He will
I
take
just brought a
this.
little bit of sauce, one of my little signatures. You know, I just figured it was a bread pudding. Moment, you know what I mean?
I think you're right.
I love it.
Bread pudding and brains.
Oh yeah, a little. I know. Oh wait a minute.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Wow.
What's bread pudding without some whiskey sauce?
And
right?
whiskey.
Yeah.
I like this.
This is the best. This is how you live life.
how you
This
live.
is what happens when you work for Polygon.com.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
you very much.
Thank
So
you.
guys, that's
That's
What were we
My
talking
World on
about?
Plate, who provided our catering this evening, which
It-
was absurdly good.
It was absurdly good.
He did just
I'm
make it so
actually
that
going
I
to
can't
pull it
eat
up
bread
because I
pudding.
saw that I want to eat more.
what's that?
That's
disgusting.
But
okay, but wait.
so much bigger.
What I didn't. Okay, so what I want to finish
probably
saying.
have red wine
Uncharted
sauce.
3. I think the problem was it wasn't just that he killed a lot of people. It's that he killed people.
It was
and then
the
he he was
implausibility
making-
of it,
No,
yeah.
but he was making jokes. He was making jokes as he was killing them, right after he killed them.
Sure.
It was ridiculous what you're saying. Sorry, I'm just going to
Yeah,
eat
he
this
was.
food and you can talk about
He
what the
was
hell you want.
Yeah, it was you don't wisecrack after you kill someone. You know, it's terrible, but like
No,
you think
you don't
about-
wisecrack after you
You're
kill
right.
someone.
I have a whole plate. What are you talking about? You want
You're
something?
really
I
somber
cry
about it.
myself
I've
to
seen
sleep.
it. It's,
Like,
yeah,
you
it's,
I know it's weird.
it's a personal moment.
It is.
Oh my
I
god.
like to cherish them.
That's what we want to talk about. Anybody else have any games we want to talk about?
What? No.
No, I don't care anymore. I'm eating my food.
I'm gonna have some
Oh,
whiskey.
yeah.
Whiskey.
So Arthur, what was the best thing that you saw?
It's no, because I actually didn't have a chance to go see Last of Us. I had to go see a lot of engines.
Engines. What about you could talk about the engines?
I can't because one of them are under embargo. Thanks, Spike.
Can you talk about Crytek?
You could talk about the Crytek engine.
That's true.
Crytek looks great. Crytek has looked great for a year. It's just interesting that all the stuff that you're going to see over the next couple of days with regards to new engines for
Is what Crytek
next
was
gen,
doing.
since we know he poured alcohol over it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I will have more because he poured alcohol.
Exactly.
Go ahead,
Like all the stuff you'll see certain publishers and developers pushing over the next few days is stuff that Crytek has been doing for a year.
You want to say your favorite word on film?
Bouquet.
How do you pronounce that?
According to
Bucket.
the Wikipedias and various pronunciation guides, it's bouquet, but every photographer in this room says bokeh.
It's a gross word.
I've heard bokeh, right?
I thought it was bucket.
Yeah, I had this conversation
All the film
with
guys are
Creighton
saying bokeh.
and Jordan. But anyway,
You
so
know how I
like depth
pronounce
of
it?
field effects and stuff like that,
Can't say
particle
it on
stuff.
TV.
As far
That's
as
how you pronounce it.
I hate all of you. As far as like stuff of the show, it's hard for me to pick one thing because there are so many things doing so many things right. Like as far as something that I could
That's
play.
not what I would. I don't know. I don't feel overwhelmed by the number of great things on the show floor to talk about.
Great things on the show floor.
I spent a lot of time on the floor. I didn't have a chance to play Dishonored. I've heard
Dishonored was
nothing
pretty
but
great.
amazing things.
You can possess a mouse, a rat.
Done.
There were
I think that's a whole
there
game,
were
actually.
there were more games that I can think of this year that people were universally positive about than any year I can think of in recent memory.
Well, but that should be the case, right? This is probably one of
It's
the last.
the most mature this console cycle will be
Right.
before it tips over into old folks' home.
Right.
It's still, getting all the hot young buyers or whatever. That pun just falls
Where are you
apart.
going with this metaphor?
So I mean, as far as something that I could play, something that's coming out soon, Halo 4 is really, really impressive.
You've been hot on that.
Yeah, I thought that it looked good, but I think that 343 has had a lot to prove because they're a brand new studio.
I think that's an understatement.
Yeah,
I think
like they're taking one of the most successful franchises of all time and granted, it's composed of veterans of that series, but it's still a new studio, and a lot of the sort of chemistry that leads to great development teams is not there. So it's a different chemistry, it's a different team, and I think a lot of that is reflected in how Halo 4 looks. I mean, it has a very different aesthetic than
Do you know
previous
what I
Halo
say?
games.
But if you give me visor wrap in a shooter, I will buy it.
So you're there, is what you're saying.
Visor wrap, I'm there.
Yeah.
You had me at visor wrap,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying.
And I mean, a lot of people like sort of glomped onto the Metroid Prime similarities to some of the weapon design, like the Forerunner stuff.
Tasty.
And I think that does give a very interesting sort of contrast to what was there before.
I have a question for you.
I think the reality. I'm sorry. The reality is that you're all about the assassinations.
The assassinations are pretty badass. You're all about the assassinations.
But no, I mean, you.
No, I don't know anything about
I don't know what's the assassination. You are. The fact that you can do like those aerial, you can leap at
like
people.
jump down on top of people and initiate assassinations where you wrap your arms and legs around them and stab them, or where you sprint from behind them and tackle them as an assassination, or break their back over your knee. They really went crazy with the assassinations, but just there's a lot of stuff that they're approaching that, and the stuff that I saw that makes it seem like they're doing more than just talking the talk.
What I have to say is that I played for like 10 minutes,
sure,
and then I watched for about 5 minutes, and in that 15 minutes of time, I saw someone getting teabagged.
Yeah.
You know what I missed?
It's a Halo game? Yeah.
No way.
I swear to God.
What was Shadowrun?
Yeah.
Where you got an STD if you teabag someone.
Yes.
And you would
No,
die.
no, but that was
eventually?
what it was they had an STD that you could only get if you teabagged one of the developers, and it spread. So if you teabagged a developer, you got the STD. If
I've
someone-
never heard that before.
I think that's brilliant,
Really,
right?
it's
How is that
awesome.
not in every game?
That's
I think
every
the
game.
worst part
It
about
was an
Halo when you
achievement,
do
I
that
think,
is, at
that
least
they-
in Reach and the Halos before, when you did that, it would sort of bring their head up a little bit when you lifted back up.
Wow.
Yeah, physics.
Wow.
But
So-
I just, as it's been a long time since we've seen a 360 game that's like a technical achievement the way that game is. A lot of people were, that
you play
game looks
Fallout
like
New Vegas?
CG. Yes, that is a technical something.
It was some kind of achievement.
Yeah. I mean, some people conflate achievement with catastrophe.
Yeah. They achieved a new level. I mean,
a lot of people thought that was the cutscenes were pre-rendered. I mean, everything that they were showing is real time, and that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
pretty good.
And it plays really well, and it plays in a way that I think is going to make it more accessible to people, which has been something that Halo hasn't really addressed since Call of Duty 4 came out.
Is Halo not accessible? I mean, that is a...
I think that Halo is not as easy to jump into as Call of Duty.
I would not have thought that.
Yeah, I would not have. I always thought it was one.
I think that you're right. There was a time when that wasn't true, but
Yeah.
it flipped. Call of Duty's done a really good job of making themselves.
And
super
in a lot of
accessible.
ways, the ways that Call of Duty does that is by making sure that you're always playing, that you're always engaged, that you're always doing something.
Right.
Like you see,
you're leveling up, getting
there's,
points.
Exactly. There's constant feedback as far that you're doing something, and Halo lacks that outside of like specific objectives, like getting a kill or getting the oddball, and that's something that they're improving. Some of the Slayer modes focus on points over kills in a much more concrete way than it's ever done, and I think that rewarding people for doing things other than just like getting more kills than other people is a good step. The ability to spawn instantly and keep people playing is a big deal. Like, it makes death less of a punishment and more just like a speed bump. And it seems like a little thing, but if you die like maybe 15 times in a match, that's like a minute and a half of time you're spending in a 5 or 6 minute match that you're not playing, and that sucks. Like watching other people play and not playing sucks in a multiplayer
boring time.
shooter. Yeah, so I think that doesn't need to be there.
So we're going to answer a few questions, and then I'm going to come back to you with one more thing I want to talk about with Halo before we move over to Brian.
Sure.
But just to answer a few questions, yes, games
no.
journalists do get to enjoy nice food sometimes.
Yeah.
That's not payola. Need for Speed didn't buy us that.
No.
What did Need for Speed get us? They got him this adorable beer cozy that you've been complimenting.
I was going to ask about
This
that.
is the one piece of swag that I have taken from the showroom floor. I'll be giving it out to someone if they want it. I don't care.
Probably a trash
You can
can.
have it. I think it's maybe the most distasteful piece of swag I have because it's
a
a
car
beer
game.
cozy for a car racing game called Most Wanted. And when they
So either they didn't think about that at all, or they thought about
Oh,
that. in
they knew
particular
they knew
circumstance.
exactly
Or
what they were
there's somebody
doing.
in EA's marketing team watching this live feed right now going,
No, I know they thought about it because Medal of Honor's swag was their USB, which was inside the casing of an actual bullet. That way,
I've seen that, like,
everyone
3 times
goes
this year.
through TSA. We can just all be harassed.
yeah, no, that's good.
I actually got the giant review press kit from Rockstar from Max Payne 3. Had a actual like full like NATO round in it.
Oh.
I was like, thanks guys. I'm glad I
Nice.
listened to this before I
That's
thought
gross.
about bringing it through security.
A few other things. We don't hate Uncharted. Uncharted 2 is a great game.
Uncharted 2 was fantastic. Uncharted 3 was
Uncharted
not.
3,
I thought
maybe I hate.
Uncharted 3
No, I
was-
know.
Uncharted 3 was
How could you
great.
have hated
Uncharted,
I didn't hate
Uncharted
it.
3 was not great.
It was
It
nice.
wasn't
I liked it.
incredible.
I liked it a lot. It had
I
some.
thought it was
It
really
had
good.
some
You can
moments.
like anything you want. Liking is.
I can love it.
Sure,
Okay, a few,
absolutely.
we're
You can
gonna
love
bash
a
through
total
these.
asshole.
We're gonna bash through these. Don't worry, guys.
That's why we all love our
Is the
thing.
Wii U screen? Does the Wii U tablet look high res? Guys, Wii U tablet. Does it look high res?
What?
Nah, it looks better than the screen on
Wii
the
U-
back of an airplane.
Yes.
It
It's
does.
better than
Absolutely, but
an
that's.
airplane
I mean,
screen.
that's disingenuous.
Is
It
it
looks
not?
much better
I
than-
would say this. I don't think it's iPad resolution, not to mention new iPad.
Oh no,
resolution.
and nor
it
does
could
it.
be.
Nor does the actual touchscreen feel as nice.
How's it
Because
compared
it's
to a
not
Vita?
I played the.
multi-touch,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
I played the.
touch
It does
screen.
not come. It does not come close to a Vita.
graphics.
Quality. I mean,
Graphics are better.
there.
Yeah.
So
One of
doing
my
the-
disappointments at the show is I actually didn't get time to put my hands on a Wii U.
Really?
Yeah.
So the game where you do the flippy with the,
Yeah, the
Ninja
castle.
Stars, that touchscreen does not feel very good.
Yeah,
Oh, Nintendo
that's
Candyland?
not the best game to show off.
I mean, it's like literally like you're kind of like.
It's like the minigame in Shinobi.
It's just not great.
So, a few other quick things. Dishonored is not quite the Geist remake that you probably want it to be, but Dishonored is still very interesting.
No, let's just stop for a second, because Dishonored is awesome, and I am not going to let you...
No, we'll talk about
how about we talk about it?
It's not my game of the year.
Oh, it's great.
Okay, well,
It's
for
your
your
game of the year?
I said it's not. I'm sorry, game of the show. It's
Right,
not.
well, I'm
my
talking
game of
about
the
We'll talk
two
about it.
games.
We're
Okay,
just
talk
going
about
to
it.
blast through these things really quick.
Okay.
What is Retro working on? I have a feeling we'll find out next year.
Yes.
Maybe
Rayman
this year if
Legends
there's Space
is more. There's not much more to say. If you played Rayman Origins, it's a lot like that.
What is it again?
Rayman Legends. It's beautiful though.
Raymond Legends.
Raymond.
So
everybody loves
Raymond
Raymond Legends.
Origins.
Oh my
an
god,
RPG.
I'm gonna get ripped apart by these guys about this. Shut up.
Rayman Legends.
Halo multiplayer is wildly intimidating. And
Too bad.
people think that getting a kill in Halo is more meaningful than getting one in Call of Duty. So,
Okay. That's fair.
please don't tell me Halo is a legitimate shot at being game of the show. Oh wow, people keep telling me to dance for them and tell them how good. What is it? Not
Wait,
Straw Dogs.
I just saw Cold Stone Creamery. I love Cold Stone Creamery.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to dance
This
for
is
you until the end of the
amazing
show, and then we'll talk about
television.
Watch Dogs. We're answering the questions. These are the people who are watching.
These are people.
Oh, it's not.
human beings.
Predictions for Wii U price. Oh, predictions for Wii U price. Oh, there's my everybody loves Raymond.
There's Raymond Legends.
Oh, I love Raymond Legends.
Raymond Raven Rabbids.
The buttons, the general feel of the Wii U controller is actually pretty good. I was really skeptical coming in, and it feels
convex
fine.
instead of concave sticks?
No, the sticks are great.
The sticks
compared
are
to
fine.
last year.
And the buttons are fine
Like
too.
that's one of the things about the DualShock that like sort of bums me out. Is
Like,
that the
that's
sticks
wrong,
are,
yeah.
And you know
are
they're
wrong. It's sort of
rubberized,
the triggers.
so it's not like a hard plastic.
It's
got
not
a nice
that it's
feel to
rubber.
it.
It's that it swells outward.
No,
instead
I
of
know,
curving
I know.
inward.
But like, I don't think last year's sticks, which
They were
had-
discs.
right on the where they attached. I mean, on top, I think they weren't rubberized. At least not as rubberized as they are.
They were.
I just like
They
saying
felt like
rubberized.
3DS sticks, is what I was
I
told.
think they were 3D.
Last
Yeah.
oh yeah, they're busted. So one more quick thing. Rayman Legends being a Wii U exclusive.
Is it?
No, well, it's technically it is a Wii U
Technically,
exclusive
it's
version
Rayman
of that game.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those things. It could very easily come out on another system.
Ubisoft really likes money.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not
They
afraid to
also
make
like
cash.
new hardware.
So
they support the hell
to
out
go
of
back
it.
to Halo before we pop over to the
Sure.
sky,
Jordan's over there
the
cracking himself
the
up.
episodic content.
Spartan Ops.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear about because I know you have some hesitations.
I think what was on display for Spartan Ops was more of a proof of concept than it was a really effective level of something.
But explain what it is again. What is?
So Spartan Ops is a downloadable content initiative that is free, apparently. They're releasing one new episode of 5 chapters a week.
Okay.
For however many months. It's like a TV season is what they're comparing it to. It takes place 6 months after the end of Halo 4. I'm not going to say what I saw in that level because I don't want to like start tweaking about the ending of Halo 4.
That's weird. So
Yeah.
Did you see post end? You saw post ending.
I mean, I saw the premise of Spartan Ops, so yes, I'm a games journalist. All magic from games has been robbed from me from quite some time.
Wow.
And
is it's telling, but it's telling that it's a story that's narratively connected to
yes,
the campaign.
It continues the story of the campaign.
Huh.
And it is not just like, well, here's some missions with some text in the middle to tell story. Like there are cutscenes and there is story and there is character development and there is all that. And it involves the Spartan 4s of the UNSC Infinity, which is that giant ship that came through
Was it like
the atmosphere in the
when
beginning
you
of
when you
Halo
started
4.
playing? There's like 6 Cortana and a 2-headed Master Chief, and you're like, what the? No.
So I think that concept is really cool. I think that how well it goes off will depend really highly on how well they execute on their story ambitions for Halo 4.
Right.
Because if that all sucks, then we have like 4 months of really subpar storytelling and missions.
You know what I bet? I bet your Master Chief is going to save the day.
I don't.
All the bad guys.
I think Master Chief's gonna die. He's gonna die. They're gonna have to kill him.
I think there's going to be bad things with Cortana.
What?
None of that was implied in the
Right,
Spartan
what you
Ops I
saw.
played. It's just my guess.
Well, but like
based on
like what we've already
sort
seen.
of established fiction and,
Right.
and what they've implied, which is that rampant AIs are bad times.
They get rampant dirt.
They kill people.
What
They ramp.
That's like a huge bet, though, because if they have a campaign that people don't buy into, then they're not going to want to get those DLC.
But
DLC.
do you really think a lot of these people really care about buying into the campaign?
Actually,
it's just more things to shoot.
Halo has one of the
I'm
highest.
gonna be really blunt.
Wow,
No,
really?
but really blunt, you're wrong because Halo
Yeah?
has one of the highest completion percentages of the campaign of any game out there.
But does that mean that the story is engaging? Because I don't remember jack about
There are
it.
people that get Halo tattoos
Dude.
and like obsess over Halo lore.
I
So
saw-
people do
I
care
saw,
about the campaign.
yeah, Harvey
But
Smith
I understand that you can care about the campaign, but does that mean that you care about the story?
Yes.
You
There are
think
people
that
care
most
about
of the people
story, yes.
who finish the campaign care about the story? That they know what...
I would say a good
They
chunk
actually know
do.
what's going on.
I would say more people than most games with campaigns.
Oh, okay. Oh, I probably agree with that.
So it's a
and
matter of
you can't use
comparison.
tattoos. Harvey Smith at Arcane tweeted the other day that the second Dishonored tattoo he'd seen from a follower on Twitter.
Wow.
That game's
Two
out.
tattoos
That game better be
is
good.
not-
And one of them was
Okay,
like
I
a-
don't see anybody having Dishonored weddings.
One of them was a huge back
That'd be
tattoo
creepy.
of the skull face, and it's like, guys, that's a video game.
Did you see that, by the way, that they had like weaponry? You didn't go there. Neither of you went there. You went there, right? You went to the Bethesda booth. They had like a little museum.
Yeah.
In the museum, they had like, they had this the skull face, the
We're
mask.
gonna talk about Dishonored.
I'm sorry.
So Spartan Ops I think that'll depend a lot on how well they achieve what their goals are for the story. And all that stuff looks really good so far, but we don't know anything about it. So it's really hard to make that.
Is this them
assumption.
trying to like?
This is them saying, please don't take your game back to GameStop.
Right, but is it
Please
like
don't take
is it their
back."
answer to Elite, or is that too?
No,
it's not that sort of.
I don't think
Well,
it's
that's
that
sort of Waypoint, and we haven't seen the full extent of Waypoint Halo 4 integration.
Exactly. I think that if I'm being an optimist, it's their way of incentivizing people keeping the disc without introducing the headaches and general ill will that adding DLC to matchmaking in multiplayer creates.
But like a game like Halo, do you think it has that big an issue with returning? It's got massive multiplayer. People usually hold on.
I
to
think
this.
any game that sells as many copies as Halo does, has
You
a
think
problem
there's
with
some
people
people?
returning games. I mean, there are copies of Black Ops and Modern Warfare 3 at GameStop. Like every game has that problem. Every game
who
has
is
to
that
approach
person that
problem.
that plays through the campaign of Black Ops 2 or 1 or whatever, and then returns it?
I think,
Done.
I think it's a younger audience that doesn't have $60 regularly, so I think I get some of that Skrilla back.
Like they see something else and they're like, I'm going to stop.
But I
that's
feel like those are the people who keep it because
Yeah.
they only get one game to play.
They can play forever.
I bought Black Ops 2, or not Black Ops 2. I bought Modern Warfare 3. Well, I bought it twice now, and I got a review code because I let someone borrow it, and then I lost a copy. I mean, it's just like I like that so much. There's so much content that I feel like somebody, if with that much content available to you, I just can't imagine. I think this, what I'm saying kind
I
of
feel like
speaks to.
streaming these pictures is a potential for embarrassment. That
This is
perhaps someone
amazing.
Should stop.
What is that?
But I think that speaks to Arthur's point that like, if you can get people to like possibly buy a game again, let alone just keep it and not
Sure.
resell it, you're in a good spot.
Sure, and if they sell it, maybe like see that it does stuff so well that they come back and buy it again. Like that would be a success.
If they lose it.
Bye, Mike McWhorter.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Have
a good time.
Okay.
Is he
so,
gonna karaoke?
So we're gonna.
Yeah, right next door. Oh wait, no, nothing. Don't worry about it.
Okay, we're gonna move on to Brian's game, and you're not gonna talk about Watch Dogs, aren't you?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
it sounds interesting, but I didn't.
I mean, that's the other game, right?
We should really talk about Watch Dogs before we.
Absolutely,
get to
and
you,
Dishonored,
because
unless you're talking about Dishonored.
We'll talk about Dishonored briefly.
Okay, so
But
the
let's
thing
talk
about
Watch Dogs because Watch Dogs, I would love to hear you talk about.
Okay, so the thing about Watch Dogs is that like seeing that game, as I told Plant, like to reference Fight Club, like that turns the volume down on literally everything else around it. Like looking at that game being played and the video out there doesn't really do the fidelity of that game justice. Like you can look at video of that game on YouTube or on like some site's shitty video player and think, oh, that looks really good, but I've seen this before. But seeing it up close, like compression is sort of an equalizer. Like video compression is an equalizer to the way the games look.
But are you talking about just the visuals? Or
I'm talking about the visuals, but then once you see the visuals and how it plays, it's just so ambitious.
It is.
So what is it doing? Because I saw the trailer. That's all I've seen.
So first of all, it's an open world game.
Right.
It's a version of Chicago with lots of active AI, all of which have identities and conversations that you can peek in on. So that in and of itself is
There's
pretty
so
big.
much data.
There's so much data going on.
Now, is that an illusion they're creating? Do you think that's
I don't
really
think,
everybody?
I don't think it is.
And so,
because they're actually, the thing they didn't show at the press conference is that there's a tablet app, and I don't know if this is iPad exclusive or if it's a web-based app, but there's going to be a web-based tablet app or whatever that will allow you to see basically everything that's going on in the city, including everything that your friends are doing in Watch Dogs, like everything they've done. It'll allow you to see every building and every destination, to scope it out. It'll allow you to investigate people in the game.
So-
and that in and of itself is huge.
So how will it be communicating with the game that you're playing, or
Yes.
is it
I imagine
live,
that they're,
you think?
yeah, and if you're playing it, we'll update stuff in real
So
time.
this is my theory, and I didn't go to the presentation, so you might already know this, but my theory is that they're going to connect it with, let's say, Facebook, and so they're going to draw
I figured
data.
you play.
You think you play?
Well, I mean,
but they mentioned
Maybe
Facebook. They were pulling data from Facebook during the press conference.
Yes, which was really creepy.
It was creepy, but like that would be a really smart way to provide instant backstory in a way that's meaningful to all those AI.
And that would be something
creepy
interesting.
way
I don't
to
think
do
that that's what's going to happen because they have you looking over people with shit like, this person has an awful credit rating because
Or
of student
HIV.
loans. This person has AIDS.
That would
Well, not AIDS. HIV.
HIV. Oh, my bad. Okay, they're in a club. I guess they're not full blown.
But I'm still not getting a sense. So how are you getting this data? What's like? Explain this to me. Like,
what do you
again,
mean? Like, how are
like,
you viewing this data?
Yeah,
like
I mean,
in the
how is
game?
like you're in the game?
So you basically have access to every telecommunications network and anything with electricity.
So are you playing the game from the perspective of some guy in a room, or are you out on the street?
No, you're out on the street. Did you not watch the
I watched the
presentation?
trailer, but I didn't see
So,
what
I
you
mean,
saw.
it's an
You only
open
saw the trailer.
I only saw the trailer.
It's an open world game similar to Assassin's Creed in the respect that you're walking around the world, blending in
Chicago.
socially in all of Chicago
So
with
is
like
this-
running public transportation, cars, traffic, all of that.
So it's like social community Assassin's Creed, like Facebook Assassin's Creed.
Sort of.
But even beyond it, I mean,
It's more like Assassin's Creed meets Grand Theft Auto with the paranoia of the Tom Clancy universe.
Or
just
Deus
now.
Ex.
Or just
Now, if
now.
you could
I mean,
shrink
if you
that down.
like, if you took back 20 years and looked now, you'd think you were living in a dystopic future. And
to me, it just looks. I mean, when I saw it, I think I mentioned this very briefly on another one of our streams. But when I had the chance to see Jade Raymond talk at GDC this year, and I felt kind of bad for her because I really think she was supposed to be talking about Rainbow Six, and this was like 2 days after
the
Trouble
Rainbow
went
Six
down.
stuff, yeah.
Because the whole point of her talk was at Ubisoft, we're putting our money where our mouth is. We're making games that are actually relevant to what is happening in the headlines today.
Sure.
And she said, I can't talk about what I want to talk about. And I assumed it was Rainbow Six. And right now I'm like,
it's obviously Watch Dogs.
It's this. There is very rarely that you
Where's it
see a
being developed?
game.
Is
What?
Watch Dogs
It's
being
Montreal.
It's Montreal, and I'm pretty sure it's one of the A teams at Montreal, not
Oh.
like B squad.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it is. Ubisoft has actually been really good about sort of ambivalent commentary on social issues,
right?
Especially with Assassin's Creed. Like Assassin's Creed has never been black and white. It's always been very gray and very dirty.
Well, they've managed like I think they snuck some political
Subtext.
commentary, subtext into it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's interesting. I think when they do that, I would much rather that happen than a game be sort of neutral.
Sure.
Because it makes it interesting.
And stuff like you see a car accident in the Ubisoft presentation and also in the trailer. And the thing that people don't understand is that was not a scripted car accident. That's a car accident that you cause, and it happens differently every time because I watched it happen 3 times, and it's different every time.
So
That's insane.
One of the things that stood out to me, one minor thing that little things like this blow me away, but like there's a gunfight, in the trailer, and apparently like there are cars all over the place, and cars are getting shot up. They have nothing to do with the action.
And they're built out of pieces. Like the cars are being blown apart in chunks.
And crumpling.
Yeah, and crumpling.
Yeah. The different fabrics, materials are reacting differently to the bullets, which is also...
And this is in a rainstorm, like under an overpass in Chicago.
With the best smoke that we've ever seen.
And that gas station explosion that happened after the target was killed in the presentation blew up during the firefight in what I was watching. So that's something that also dynamically occurs.
But what kind of blew me away was that during that gunfight, he's going by, and as he walks by one of the cars, there's a guy in the passenger seat begging talking to this woman who's slumped over the wheel, telling her to look at him, telling him to look at her. And it's like, God, that's like so powerful.
Right, and one of the things they show in the presentation,
like a little AI
or
thing.
they showed behind closed doors, which they didn't show in the presentation, is like you can just eavesdrop on random conversations that have nothing to do with the game, like in a lot of places.
I just like the fact that they are putting, we were talking earlier about violence and too much violence in games.
Sure.
The fact that they're showing the results of violence in a way that you don't ever see in video games.
Yeah.
That someone who got shot because you're having a gunfight is
collateral damage.
Yeah,
and so the narrative and moral implications of what they're showing is really impressive, and add to all that the fact that it is one of the most technically impressive things I've ever seen. From a visual perspective, but not just that, but also from a physics perspective and an animation perspective.
And a data perspective.
And next year they're going to say it's an iPhone game.
Yeah, sure.
Well, which is what I originally thought in the live
in a
stream,
way,
like a moron.
like the technology reflects it, because I was talking to the executive producer today, and it's a new engine. It's an engine created from pieces of their other engines. So there's Anvil in there, which is the engine behind Assassin's Creed. Which really shows in the animation and the crowd systems. The Dunia engine, which is the Far Cry engine, which I guess sort of shows in the way that it's a very large world, which is something that Far Cry has always done well, and also in elements of the Splinter Cell engine, which shows in the gunplay.
Far Cry also, I think, is it Dunia or
Dunia?
Dunia. It also does. It's also systemic. It's also procedural.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure building an environment that large, there has to be a lot of procedural elements that fill in detail, that fill in, density.
For the budget's sake, yeah, you'd hope so. It just looks incredible.
Yeah. So really quick to get to the conspiracy theory of the game. Everybody wants to know: is it current gen? Is it next gen?
What you're seeing, there's no way in hell what you're seeing in that game is what's going to appear on Xbox 360 and PS3.
Yes.
But we do have to say that they have said it is current gen.
They said that there's no way it won't come out.
Sure.
It won't not come out on current gen.
And Ubisoft has a
There's
long track record of releasing different versions of games.
Sorry to interrupt. I've got Marty on the line.
Oh, geez.
Uh-oh.
Marty's
Said
our
stop
boss's
drinking while you're
boss.
on TV.
Marty says he's very distracted by you pulling on your shoelaces.
I'm yanking on my shoelaces.
Yeah.
Should I stop?
That was not
should
yanking.
stop. It's a little distracting.
Okay.
So that's my message from.
One might
Marty.
say you were
Hey, Marty.
jerking on your shoelaces.
Gentlemen, that's your first executive producer note.
Okay.
Stop jerking your shoelaces.
Don't jerk my shoelaces. Well, it would be if I had something to.
If you really want to keep pulling on them, you have the okay.
You're fired.
You would prefer it.
If I had something to occupy my hands with, I could.
What do you need?
You
Just
can
some booze.
play with Arthur's beard.
booze? You need
Play with
booze?
Arthur's
Yes.
beard.
Arrogant bastard.
Just
Okay. So
So
let's
anyway,
keep
what
talking
I
about
was
the
saying
games.
is that Ubisoft has a very demonstrated track record of releasing multiple versions of games across hardware.
They're not
There's
all
a Ghost Recon game on Wii, and it is sure as shit not like any Ghost Recon game on 360 or PS3.
One other thing to talk about that really quick.
Oh,
You mentioned seeing the.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
What is going on here?
You're a
Jesus
disaster.
Christ.
Oh, you're,
Oh, no.
I was never here.
You know,
I'm
when
happy
the guy
we have a
who owns
coaster.
this place said we needed to use coasters, I'm pretty sure he wanted us not to pour beer
all
on
around
No,
him.
he meant to get beer on the coaster.
So
Got
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I'll just wait 1 second while the bald man fixes his boo boo.
Guys,
You fix it?
There you go.
give me another coaster.
How's that,
No,
Marty?
you're not going to soak it up with coasters.
Give me another coaster.
That's not how coasters work. They're there. They're
Here's
preventative.
how coasters work. See?
That's like That's like using a condom afterwards.
Oh, God, that was the worst.
That's
There's such
dumb.
a terrible image
Hey,
in
look
my
at
head
that.
right
That's
now.
beer under the glass.
Okay,
care.
so
Yes,
yeah,
you are.
it is an arrogant bastard for the people who asked it.
Yes.
So one thing
Says the
about
beard.
that. One of the things that you mentioned
not a good
was
idea. You
seeing
need to say
in the car wreck where people are
Yes,
reacting and having
right.
their own little stories.
drop it on
And it's interesting to see how studios kind of take what they learn from a game and apply it to the next game. We
Right.
saw that with Last of Us, and this is what the one thing I said was disappointing of Last of Us is seeing what lessons learned. What they took from Uncharted 3, I thought the most was the fluidity of combat, where it's like it becomes more cinematic. You pull the camera in, and it all moves fast. But what I felt like I saw with Watch Dogs was, oddly enough, Driver San Francisco, which was a game that had hundreds of
Right.
these tiny personal stories that were great stories that
Okay.
didn't need to be in the game, that are showing up in a game like Watch Dogs
I was
in
like,
these
wait.
tiny incidental
Where do you go with
moments.
this?
And
It's a driving game.
Working it.
And one of the other questions that we saw was, and thank you for this snarky comment. I'm just going to finish this really quick because I have to respond to this. Of where does violence become too, like when is it not, when am I not going to perpetuate it? There's a huge difference from just shock violence in which people are killing each other and violence in which people are reacting with human emotions.
Sure.
Right.
That's like saying that a smut film is the exact same as watching like Schindler's List. There's a chasm
And
between
to bring
the
up
two.
to bring up another Ubisoft game, Assassin's Creed succeeds and fails in that regard because in a lot of ways you're not killing a ton of people in Assassin's Creed until all of a sudden you're killing all of the people in Assassin's
To bring up
Creed.
another Ubisoft game, I think Raymond Legends.
Yeah?
He
Raymond.
does.
It's my favorite.
What does it bring to Watch Dogs?
It's
Yeah?
Anyway,
That was good.
I mean, you'll notice in a demo that was about 10 minutes that showed a lot of gameplay mechanics. You shot maybe 4 people, and they were very specific people. So, I mean, maybe Watch Dogs can practice what it preaches.
I don't think the issue with games and violence is that there's too much violence or that games shouldn't have violence. It's that it was most disturbing in a game like Uncharted, where you are playing a character you genuinely like him, and he's going around killing people and he's doing
very
things.
glib,
There's a huge disconnect between the character you know and the one who's snapping necks and shooting people.
Sure.
And you cannot go through that game without killing people. It's impossible. You can snap necks only, which is a lot of fun.
But yeah, Watch Dogs, people have been asking, like some people are sort of naysaying the idea of a next generation. They're saying, we don't need new consoles. Look, I mean, what would they do
Who's saying
with
that?
new consoles? I mean, there's a
Hold on. So do you guys remember Xbox 360 came out and everyone said we don't need new consoles?
Who did what?
When Xbox 360 was announced and then released, there was a cacophony of voices saying that we didn't need new consoles.
Sure.
Because they didn't have an HD TV yet. And it's like, well, now we got it.
But I mean, the point being that...
Are there's reaction to you right then? Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, that's what everyone says, right? Oh, my Xbox is fine.
I think that there's anxiety over them not supporting the next generation.
No,
or
there's
this
anxiety over
generation.
having to spend $200 to $300 on a piece of hardware.
That's more than $200 or $300.
I don't know if people have noticed this is an expensive hobby.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I can understand.
Depends on your hobby.
So I want to talk about the game that I really liked.
So
what's your game?
What I was going to get is Watch Dogs is the first thing to really demonstrate like what the next generation is capable of.
Except for this other game.
Hawken.
Hey, that's
It is such a great game. Wait, no, here's the thing that nobody wants this to be a great game because it's free to play. It's a PC game.
Nobody wants this to be good.
It's
free and it's on every system that everyone has in their homes.
No, but like people.
Everybody hates it.
People hate free to play games. They hate free to play.
Where's my code?
I think people are more likely to write it off because it's a first-person shooter.
What?
I would agree with that
I think
more
people
than
are more likely to write it off
it's
because it's a
free
shooter.
and I can play it on everything I
first-person
own.
shooter? You're a giant.
Are
Huge robots.
Are you looking out of the cockpit, or does it take place behind you?
When you shoot
No, you can see the cockpit.
Right. So it's out of your eyes. You see
That's
the thing
more of a
you're
first-person
in.
shooter than you originally used.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But you can repair your robot with another robot, and at that point, it's a
It's
third
still
person.
first person.
Think about that.
What?
Everybody wave to Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy. No, seriously. If you liked MechWarrior,
Tracy
MechWarrior
explained to me
2,
earlier in the week why she takes pictures, and I can't repeat it because it would make me sound like a terrible person.
I feel dirty now.
Come on, tell us
It's
about your
because
game.
she has a bad memory and she likes to take pictures.
okay.
That's
So,
I want to hear about your game.
no,
Because I believe
so it really
you're
is.
really enthusiastic about
It is a lot of fun.
We got to
So
give Brian for like 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
All right.
5 minutes
Five
of yammer.
minutes.
So it is a mech game. There are not a lot of those out there. First off, it is
Except for MechWarrior.
no. It's got this amazing art style. Do you know about the art style?
It's all CryEngine, right?
Yeah, it's a
yeah. But
power game.
what they did was they took this art style and I suddenly forgot what it's called. But it's basically where you take, like, hobbyists do this. You take a whole bunch of different model pieces.
Kit bashing.
Yes, kit bashing. What do you
Sorry,
like?
I just realized that this whole time everyone in the comments has been referring to you as Saeed from Loft.
I'd be like
And one
2
of them-
feet taller.
One of them just asked, "Who's that Armenian gangster?"
Yes. I'll take that.
Wow,
I'll take that.
that's badass. Okay, keep telling us about it because I'm interested.
So kit bashing. So the idea is you take a bunch of different pieces of metal, or in kits,
Pieces of
model
plastic
pieces,
model kits, yeah.
and then you create things with them that are not what they intended to be. So in this case, they
he looks like an Armenian gangster now. I can't stop. You got the shirt's 2 buttons open and everything about it.
I got this from the first man I killed.
It's Armenian gangster. It's great.
I am an Armenian gangster.
Look, I didn't want to say anything.
I want to hear everything about Hawken, you guys.
Hawken or Hawking?
No, it's my favorite.
Because I could tell you about Hawking too.
A brief history of the universe, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Go. No. You need a better picture. Get the. You need. What's the movie? I can't think of the movie.
Which one?
The.
Ah, no, that was.
I wish it had a word bubble that said I like
movie.
news.
No.
Are you scrolling down to his package?
Yeah. No. What's the guy who's
Now he
from?
looks like Brian.
He's from the.
Now it's a party.
Bigelow.
Bigelow?
The Gigolo. Come on.
Bigelow.
I can't. Someone's saying what movie it is right now.
You can't unsee Saeed. Oh my God, he is Saeed.
So anyway,
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking. Brief history of the universe.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna give you the floor because.
It is a great game. It is a great game. So
Why
it's
is
got
it a great game?
It's got a fantastic aesthetic. It's a beautiful game. It really is a beautiful game to play.
Thank you.
It has a lot of the intricacies of mech battles, but they've streamlined it in a way so you can, first off, so there's no sort of trudging slowly towards your enemy to take them out, but also because they've streamlined it in a way that doesn't make you worry too much about overheating or running out of energy. You still have to look at those things, but they've sped it up enough that I think they're striking a balance that's important for this genre.
What's the business model for the free-to-play?
They won't talk about it. I think the business model is going to be like World of Tanks. Polygon. You're pointing at Polygon. Really? I don't look like that. Wait, hold on. Here, let me see this.
He's got the necklace.
Wait.
He's got the same necklace.
No, the guy from Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo. What's that guy's name?
Okay, guys. Brian really wants to know
Deuce Bigelow,
who
Male
the
Gigolo.
guy from Deuce
That guy.
Bigelow, Male Gigolo is.
Bring that guy. Bring a picture.
Rob Schneider?
No.
No. Like,
what's his name?
No, guys, I look like Rob Schneider. You are the first person to ever say that. I don't look like this handsome guy.
No,
I look more
Rob.
like Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
You know, the really ugly racist guy from I Now Pronounce You Jack and Larry. Okay, guys. So I think. How much time do we have left? Are we stepping all over it?
3 minutes.
Okay. We're gonna. I want to hear the rest of your thoughts before I get into my great game.
What?
Okay. We got pull up that Hawken trailer. Let Brian finish this.
So Hawken finds Pop Sugar shirtless. I just look at pictures of a shirtless
Let's just look at
guy.
pictures of a shirtless
can you bring
guy.
up a picture of Oded Fair?
Yes, there. Thank you.
Okay.
Oded Fair, please.
Yes.
Okay, while we're waiting, you finish up telling us about
Okay,
this game.
so it finds that balance that I think that was the one thing I didn't like about mech games. I love mech games. Have any of you ever played Mech Warrior or any of the mech games?
I played Mech Warrior.
So that you do remember, like, there was always that slow march, and it was boring as hell.
It was a lumber.
It's deliberate.
Yeah. Because
Right.
it's a giant fucking robot.
Yes. This one has really small maps that are really cool because of the art style they're using. They've done all the other things that mech games have. They have a lot of customization. You can change the weapons, tons of different bodies, and probably free to play. I think what I was saying earlier, I think World of Tanks is the business model they're going to go with. In World of Tanks, you essentially own a tank.
Will they also have really tasteless E3 displays?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if it was the most tasteless though. There are plenty, much.
That's not a contest.
There's a spectrum of tastelessness.
Anyway, so World of Tanks has you own tanks, and they take damage, and at the end of a battle, you have to repair them using in-game silver, and you inevitably run out of that, and you can either wait a long time, or you can go and buy silver with real money. Right. And I'm sure, I don't know this for a fact, but I think that's the business model they'll go with. The coolest thing is that some company who has never made anything before, a peripheral company, Ripley, has designed this insane...
Wait, the company's named Ripley and they made a mech thing?
Yeah, I'm sure
Believe
that was
it
on
or not.
purpose. So they made this twin stick controller that is crazy. Did you guys see the picture of it?
No.
It's crazy.
Is
it Virtual One?
No, it's a whatchamacallit reborn.
It is a whatchamacallit reborn.
Steel Battalion Reborn. It's a big, giant mech controller.
Yeah, it's got two. I don't even want to know what this is.
Yeah, that's very
Polygon. Anyway, it's got twin sticks. Look at this. Look how
It does look cool. I will
it
give
is
you that.
beautiful. It is a beautiful game.
And this will run in my browser?
No, it's not a browser
I have
game.
to download it.
No, well,
Free doesn't mean browser.
I think Gaikai had a Hawkins setup.
Yeah, it didn't run very well, frankly. But like, look at this. This is like, and it is a lot of fun.
Can your mechs jump and fly?
They can jump and fly, and they can power slide left and right.
They soar like an eagle.
You've got all kinds of weapons. You've got items you can use.
Right,
You can drop down
you have
shield.
guns, you have missiles. Are there mech swords?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Can you hit things with your mech?
You can smack into each other.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, there's
and there's like a lot of stuff going on up in the. As you can see, there's like all this stuff going on.
This kind of reminds me of Jumping Flash. If Jumping Flash was a
We're fun
CryEngine powered.
Guys, we've decided to bring Jumping Flash to the Nintendo Wii U system. I would like to talk about basketball.
That looks way better than Dishonored.
What's your game?
My game.
Dishonored.
No, it's not Dishonored. And I mean,
if you say
I'm not
gonna
gonna bring the same game that I brought to Besties because Project P100 actually probably is my true game of the show. But everybody's bringing the big dogs to the game, so I'm bringing the closest I could find to a big dog, and that is Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Sure,
which
Burnout
was
Reborn.
it's just Burnout Paradise 2.
I want to point something out. I think somebody's been bought and paid for.
Oh no, my game! Okay, but seriously, Burnout Paradise is one of my probably 3 top games of this generation. I played that for years.
I could not be bothered with it.
Oh my gosh, it's a beautiful thing.
Wow.
And what is great about Need for Speed Most Wanted, so far what I've seen is people talk about, like creating stories in games naturally. And a lot of people will point to the Dark Souls, Demon Souls games, these places where incidents just happen. And whatever, that's fine. That's not my type of game personally. Sure. But when I play
I remember
something...
the story, I took the game out and never played it again.
Oh yeah, I remember that story too. I heard it from Justin.
Yeah.
But when I was playing Most Wanted, I played that game for maybe 20 minutes, and I came out of it wanting to tell people about just the absolute crazy stuff I did.
Okay, so
in
if
20 minutes.
So this is coming from an avowed fan of Just Cause 2.
Yes, and Just Cause 2 is probably my favorite game of this generation. I will put experiences that I can create above everything else. The game can be buggy.
Emergent gameplay.
Yes, emergent gameplay above everything else.
Did you ever dig into Red Faction Guerrilla?
Yes, and I love Red Faction Guerrilla is also fantastic.
Man, if you let this guy merge on some stuff, like...
You let me merge, I'll merge. I'll get in that highway.
What's the... Because I know nothing about the game. What's like the elevator pitch?
Here's the elevator pitch. In Burnout Paradise, you could start events at kind of basically where stoplights were. Here, when you're playing with people, it is one event after the next. And these events are everything. There's a race, but then it'll just be like, okay, you finish the race immediately. It'll be like, okay, guys, you got 15 seconds. One of you get the highest speed. Okay, you got 30 seconds. Somebody just jumped the furthest they can over this highway.
So
and
it's
then
Need for Speed, screw around with your friends.
Screw around with your friends. And then every once in a while, it's like, okay, now let's get serious. Let's have a race. Meet at this waypoint. But the great thing about that is you meet at the waypoint, but if you get there first, you're severely punished because you just are sitting there waiting for people to take you down. And takedowns are like awarded with more XP. So you'll race to get there and you'll get XP for that. But then the second you get there, you'll slow down to stop at the waypoint. And people will just destroy your car. So before every race, there's basically like a 10-car pileup that looks beautiful. So it's just absolute chaos every time. And you want to kind of survive these things because you can save your boost if you don't get in takedowns. So there's this kind of constant rock, paper, scissors that's also going on where you want to crash into people, you want to get XP by being at places first, you also want to protect your car. And that's through everything. I mean, even the small situations, like I mentioned, the jumping over the bridge. The great part about that is you have 10 people all trying to jump over the same bridge, kind of like, what is it?
In
Like
different
motocross
directions?
Madness style, different directions, and if you crash into each other, you're out. So on one hand, you want to get as far away as you can and build up your speed and gun it. At the other hand, you can't see what's going to come over the bridge. So everyone who was going really fast would just collide into each other right in the middle, and it would just be these like fantastic 8-car explosions over a highway in the middle of this beautifully rendered
sounds
city.
terrible.
It was fantastic. And the best part about all of this too is, so you're constantly doing everything. The second you could possibly get bored, there are records for everything. There are records for donuts. There's records for like hitting the fastest speed on one block.
Is it all autolog?
So everything,
powered?
it's autolog powered, which
So
is
is
great.
Autolog in the game
It's a new version of autolog that is constant everywhere.
John Carpenter.
So every single thing you do has a record. So if
John
you get
Carpenter of
bored, you're
Mars.
just, oh god, you're pursuing another record. So that's my type of game. It's a game that you talked about the feedback loop of Call of Duty.
Sure.
I cannot think of a feedback loop in gaming that compared to what I saw for
Which
20
is interesting
minutes.
because Need for Speed Hot Pursuit was a great game, but man, did that screw up the feedback loop. Like, you would crash and just wait.
And you're done.
So long to
And
jump
here,
back in.
you are right back in it. And you're not punished that bad. You're not punished. It's just you're not being rewarded.
Are they real cars or are they fancy, souped-up
they're
fake
real
cars?
cars, and they get destroyed something fierce.
Let's be clear. It's polygonal models of cars. They're not.
What?
No, they're real cars.
All right.
These aren't
You're
real
no,
cars.
wait, no. This is a video live stream, and you're controlling real cars.
This is terrible.
And you
How many people died in your demo?
Oh, the
today?
humanity.
Watch Dogs, dog. It's Watch Dogs. So that's my game. I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I rambled about Project P100 earlier, which is also great.
Dishonored is also awesome.
Dishonored is also great. Do you want to talk about that very
Yeah, no,
quickly?
Dishonored. So Dishonored is you have a sword in one hand and you have a gun or a crossbow or the ability to magic-y
What does a
things.
crossbow look like?
It's same thing, I think, like a gun.
like a gun.
Or like,
Like
a
that,
nothing.
sort of?
I did the nothing thing. And you run
Crossbones.
around and you have an objective, and the objective is to go kill someone. And so you're running around, and then if you're me, you decide you want to see what's on the other side of a wall, and you jump over it and you fall in a big ocean.
Do you
And
die?
at that point you think you're going to die because that's what most games do. But you don't. So then you're just swimming for a while. And you're like, oh, that's a nice sunset. And then I realize there's another wall and I can get out. So I'm like, okay, so I screwed up and I'm going to get out. And I start taking damage. I was like, why am I taking damage? I turn around and they're a piranha biting me.
That's a nice way of saying get out of the water, asshole.
But seriously, that's awesome. And if I wanted to, you know what I could have done to this piranha? I could have possessed one.
Would the other piranha then eat you?
You could just swim around.
Dishonored feels to me like a
It's so
PC
fucking
game
crazy.
from about 2001 with a really nice.
It sounds a lot like that
Like
sort
when
of
you can do
golden
those
era
really
of
crazy
Deus
things.
Ex
Yeah.
inspired games.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
pretty.
But
did
now
any
it's
of you
like
try
close
it?
to modern
I did
graphics.
not get
I
around to
didn't.
trying it.
Did you try it?
It just
Yeah.
sort of sounds
Did you
like.
possess anything?
Yes, I possessed a rat.
I possessed a rat.
You can also like unleash rats on people. I mean that's
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's in most
sounds
of the
like
people
Did you
who
Bioshock
game the
and
game.
Thief.
Did you see what happens
basically.
if a person gets killed and there's a swarm of rats that you have unleashed? Did you go back later to see what happened?
Well, they go to more people.
No. Did you go look at the body later?
No.
It looks like
Oh, it peels everything off. I saw
there's
that.
like it looks like somebody has been picked over like they were like the main course at a Sunday barbecue.
pretty
It is
foul.
gross. It is like, I was like,
How many people do you serve at your Sunday barbecues?
So, guys, any chance before we wrap up? Is there any chance that you can get any trailer or video footage of Need for Speed Most Wanted, the new one? If at all, if not, it's okay. But just
or Dishonored, which is way better.
take a real look. So now we have to talk about what we think. Do you want to talk about? Do you want to decide a game of the show, or are we just kind of just leave it open-ended?
I don't want to.
I think that's fine.
I like
leaving
saying
it
that
open.
there are
was a
games
lot
of
of
the
there.
show.
It was not the best E3.
It was certainly not the best E3. In
It was,
fact,
I would say
but
you gotta say it's the worst. I would say it's.
What?
I would say it's not the
No, it
worst.
was not the worst.
I think
You
it's-
were not in Santa Monica.
it's the most
This is
disappointing one I can remember.
I think the problem with this E3 is the fact that we've spent the last 3 E3s getting hardware announcement and releases. Like we had Kinect, we had Move, we had 3DS, we had Vita, and now we've got.
I think one of the biggest problems with this E3.
Wait a year.
But a lot of good games.
I think
No,
this
and
problem-
that's the thing.
they're
Is
good
that there are
games.
so many amazing games coming out this year.
But the thing is, we saw one game roughly, one major game that has a release date that's more than 12 months out, and that's Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Everything else is coming
But
out.
I mean, there are a lot of stuff that got pushed to March is going to get pushed further back.
This is the first E3 that I've left wanting. XCOM. We didn't even talk about XCOM, but like, there are games I am craving to play walking away from this E3, and that doesn't happen a lot.
This is the game that I played, you guys.
Is this real life?
This is real life.
It looks like real life. God, it really does.
The other
actually.
great thing about this,
It's
if
great.
you liked Burnout Paradise, is, and the developers outright said this, I was like, I love Burnout Paradise. I liked the last Need for Speed game, but it felt like you were kind of being held back in terms of your sense of humor and the craziness. And the guy just outright said, we made the most successful Need for Speed game. We can do whatever we want. And it was like, yes. And when you see it, there are all these billboards for other EA studios, and when you hit them, they turn into Criterion billboards. Like all the license plates are like nods to previous Criterion games. And there's a lot of really fun stuff in this. I think they're obviously keeping a lot secret for now. It's such an obvious Burnout reference. It's great.
They get their name under the title card.
A Criterion game?
I know. That's
pretty baller.
It's
on the cover.
Those guys are like, mic drop.
Their name is on the cover twice.
Yeah, and Autolog, I mean, they deserve it too, because
Yeah,
Autolog is
Autolog's
being
awesome.
repurposed for pretty much everything.
But then they have Battle Log.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way,
let's
not
not
nearly
talk
as good as
about
Autolog.
Yeah, we won't go into that because we're staying posy because we just talked about a lot of great games.
Yes.
The state of the industry
And
is
there's so
strong.
many awesome games at the show that we didn't talk about, like Assassin's Creed
Yes,
3.
and there were tons of games that were at our party that weren't even at the show because GDC and PAX have now become the great separate
They're the
venture
indie
for the great indie showcases. So it can be a bummer not seeing all the indie games
There's
at E3.
Indiecade here, and I think we
There
did
was
give one of
Indiecade.
our. There was the Indiecade.
Yeah, we're gonna have an Indiecade video for you, but don't worry, indie games are.
We did give one of our
They're
editor's choice picks to one of the indie games here.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So look for our editor's choice picks, look for our Indiecade video, look for all of the crazy amount of video content we have coming. We have a lot more news stories that are going to be posted between now and next
E3
Monday.
coverage will continue through next
E3
week.
coverage will just keep on rolling.
Keep it on.
That's pretty much it, you guys.
There's a couple more things.
Yeah?
What?
Tell me.
I think we should thank our video crew over here.
Our video crew.
Have they eaten yet?
And the commenters
Jordan.
love you guys. The graphics.
Jordan, Billy, Creighton. We've got Jason, who might still be here.
Oh.
We got Drew's outside. Who they did an excellent job. Let's all give him a round of
He's
applause.
lying. There's actually nobody over there.
You know
He's
what
making names.
Everybody?
And you know what can burn in hell?
What's that?
DSL.
So yeah, DSL companies of the world, you're all going to hell. You'll have
Burn in
your
hell.
reckoning. Thank you very much. Our internet here stinks. I don't know.
Oh,
Also,
right.
Team Polygon.
The amazing Team Polygon, our super team.
Our super
Super
team.
team.
First
Yes.
E3 ever with
First
super team.
E3 ever.
And it went.
We should get them.
Yeah, you know what?
Can everybody come out for a dance party to end this off?
Let's
I don't
go.
know about
Let's do a
dance
Team
party.
Guys,
Polygon
yep,
dance
it's
party.
Call Me Maybe time, guys.
Oh no.
Guys, it's Call Me Maybe time. Yeah, we got. Okay, wait. Hey, guys, are you ready for this? I'm gonna dance.
I'm gonna watch.
Guys, come on, everybody come out here.
Come on.
Everybody come out
You
here.
don't have
Phil,
to
if you don't
dance.
come out
You
here, I'm
have
gonna.
to come on.
I'm gonna hurt you, Phil. Come out here. Come out here. We got it. Keep it out here. Keep it down here.
What?
Keep it down here.
What are you doing?
Mother's, I'm
I was
surprised you
screaming
didn't
into it. I
break
was making it pop.
What is
Oh,
this?
my shoe was untied, excuse.
Okay, wait, we got something.
Indian wedding.
What is
It's
this?
an Indian wedding, my favorite type of
We
wedding.
need sound.
Oh, it's Saeed.
Is it?
Indian wedding.
Is it me again? I have a very
Come on, everybody,
successful
come on
movie
out.
and
We're gonna
television
dance.
career. Oh, this isn't. Wait.
Yep.
Brace yourself, Darcy. You're about to transform into the Indian MC hammer.
23.
Other people on the shelf.
Here we go.
Yes. Do that. Do that. Plan it. Go for it.
What have they done?
Oh, they.
What are they saying?
Oh, these pretty girls fluttering temptingly like kites without string.
Spin. Spin. Hands up in the air. Hands up in the air. Hands down. Hands down. Wait, you have to do this now.
I don't know. Are we still on?
No, I never know.
Okay, well, it's been a great E3, everybody.
Wait, there he is.
We will see you next year. Here's Griffin. Here's Ross. Here's everybody. We're dancing. We're popping. Okay, well, we'll see you next year.
Whoa!
Whoa!